Commissioner Gershenson.
Here.
Commissioner Gingell.
Here.
Commissioner Hoffman. Commissioner Johnson. Commissioner Joliet.
Here.
Commissioner Long.
Here.
Commissioner Lubes.
Here.
Commissioner Markham.
Here.
Commissioner Miller.
Here.
Commissioner Nelson.
Here.
Commissioner Powell.
Here.
Commissioner Smiley.
Here.
Commissioner Smith Charles.
Present.
Commissioner Spiz.
Here.
Commissioner Taylor.
Here.
Commissioner Weipert.
I'm here.
Commissioner Woodward.
Here.
Mr. Chair, there is a quorum.
Thank you very much. The invocation for tonight's meeting will be led by the Honorable Ann Erickson Galt. If you are able, if you could stand, and it will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
I think that it would be helpful if we all begin by taking in a deep breath. Let it out slowly. May we all work together for the benefit of all of Oakland County. May we all make good decisions. May we all remember that we are neighbors and members of the same community, and that we're all here essentially for the same purpose. And hopefully we can find common ground on our issues. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Erickson Galt. This will move us to approval of the minutes of the minutes dated May 21st, 2026. Moved by Lubes, seconded by Joliet. All in favor say aye. 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 Opposed say nay. Let the records reflect that the minutes have been approved. And next up is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion moved by Lubes, seconded by Long to approve the agenda?
Excuse me, Chairman Woodward, did we, can we please, I'm requesting to
Yes.
pull off 11D. Did it
It
get
is,
pulled off?
yes, if everyone
Okay.
refreshes,
All right,
that
I tried.
refreshes, that
Okay.
has been done. That's reflective in this agenda.
Okay, thank you.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Let the record reflect that the agenda is approved. The first thing that we have up is a public hearing. This is specifically a statutory requirement around the appropriations for the local road improvement program. We're going to open that public hearing at 6:32. This is an opportunity for people to speak specifically to the road improvement program. This is a road funding project that the board started years ago in partnership with our local roads to add additional funding to build more local roads in our cities. Is anyone here to speak about the local road improvement program? Seeing none, I will close the public comment, and we will be taking up that item in the agenda, and it will bring us to presentations. And the first one will be led by Commissioner Lubes, a proclamation for Family Reunification and Preservation Day.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It is my privilege to proclaim Family Reunification and Preservation Day, and I would like to invite Judge Savin and Referee Harris up to receive the proclamation. It is a meaningful proclamation for me. I have 9 grandchildren, and 2 of those grandchildren are adopted. Adoption can be a long and arduous process, but my children managed through it, and I love all of my grandchildren dearly. As a social worker, I spent many years doing home-based family therapy, so I know reunifying families, parents with their children again, is the foundation of our society. So now let me read. Whereas it is important to recognize statewide observances such as Family Reunification and Preservation Day that promote the safety, stability, and well-being of children and families in the child welfare system. And whereas preserving and strengthening the family whenever safely possible is the first goal of all neglect and abuse matters that come before the Oakland County Juvenile Court, part of the 6th Judicial Circuit Court Family Division. Reunification embodies the belief that with the right support, services, and commitment, families can overcome challenges, heal, and create safe, nurturing environments for their children. The court works collaboratively with families, the Department of Health and Human Services, caseworkers, medical and mental health service providers, attorneys, judges, and community partners to ensure that parents receive the assistance and resources they need to address barriers and work toward reunification. Each year, Michigan recognizes Family Reunification and Preservation Day to honor the children and families who successfully reunify, as well as the professionals whose dedication makes such reunifications possible. This day also highlights the ongoing commitment and supportive services provided by the Oakland County 6th Judicial Circuit Court Family Division, the Department of Health and Human Services, and its many partners that help families throughout their journey to reinforce the importance of family-centered practices and uplift the positive outcomes that occur when families are strategically brought back together in a meaningful way. So we proudly join the Oakland County 6th Judicial Circuit Court Family Division in observing Michigan's statewide 8th Annual Family Reunification and Preservation Day celebration on June 25th. The efforts of those working in the juvenile justice field contribute needed support to the families who demonstrate, by resilience and hard work, that reunification is possible and meaningful to the children and families. Therefore, on behalf of our Dave Woodward, Chair of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, and the entire Oakland County Board of Commissioners, we recognize June 25th as Family Reunification and Preservation Day. So it is my honor to present to you both the proclamation to hang proudly wherever you want. Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Lori Saven, and I am one of the judges on the 6th Circuit Court here in Oakland County's Family Division. And on behalf of everybody in the court, because us 8 judges in the Family Division are just the smallest part of the court that makes this happen, we want to say thank you, everyone, to all of the commissioners. We really appreciate you recognizing the work that we do and the partners that are involved. And I just want to take a moment here. We've actually got a lot of partners here. Mr. Hamilton, who I don't even know his job title is, all I know is he knows everything, and he's in charge of the entire unit, is here. But referee Lisa Harris, she's the referee supervisor for the juvenile referees, is here. She's really the one that is making sure that we honor and recognize everybody that works so hard to help our families return to their homes with their children intact. I know we've celebrated Adoption Day before, but reunification is very special because we are putting families and keeping them together. And I just want Referee Harris to take a moment to just recognize some of our partners because their role is so vital to making sure that this happens.
Thank you. We are very excited, and this commission has been so gracious in supporting the Family Division, especially in our juvenile justice reforms for delinquency cases. But child protection is also very important and dear to us. And so we have partners, and I first want to recognize, and I'm going to call groups, so I'll have you to stand up with your group. But I particularly, Scott Hamilton is a part of our administration, and we also have so I'm going to ask you to stand up real quick, move quickly. Thank you very much. We also have Referee Nadine Hatton. Referee Hatton is also here. She is one of our colleagues. And we are very honored to have one of our regional directors from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, Ivana Maplanka, who is also here with several members of her staff. So if DHHS, will you please stand up? Thank you very much. And then we also have represented today from the prosecutor's office, who represents the Department of Health and Human Services. We're happy to have our APA here. Thank you very much, one of them. And then we also have court-appointed special advocates. And so we're asking that Ms. Brenda Baker-Mbaki and also Michelle Watson stand. You two, please continue to stand. And I also want to ask if Valerie Smith, who's our court liaison, and also Jody Romero Perez, if you'll stand up. These four worked along with me to make sure that we could have this recognition, and we're hopeful that today is just the beginning of annually recognizing the families that work so hard to bring their families to come back together after hardship has happened. So thank you, ladies, very much. And thank you all for this recognition. It means a lot to the families of Oakland County. One last group that I would hate to miss are all of the court-appointed attorneys that work to serve the parents representing them, as well as lawyer guardian ad litems. So again, thank you, thank you, thank you. Everybody, please come down for it.
Sorry, Chair Woodward.
Oh, it's perfectly fine. No, I think it's a demonstration. Your team is astounding. It's a family that's helping bring families back together. And so thank you, Judge, and everyone involved.
Thank you. Chris, you need to come up too. I don't need a mic. Chris, you Jack? I don't remember that either, but she's in administration.
I think I'm taller than you now.
Barry's tall.
Why are you on the main?
Here, go there. Right there, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you again for all you do. So next up, I'm going to call up Commissioner Hoffman to present a deserving proclamation, celebration, and sadness for the rest of us. Commissioner Hoffman?
Thank you, Chairman Woodward. I would like to invite all the other commissioners to join me if they would like. Come on, Tracy. Oh. Michael.
We all come up here.
Thank you.
Tracy.
Yeah.
Bob, other people can help you read it or no?
Yeah, oh yeah, they have to.
We're happy about it.
I know I speak for the entire Board of Commissioners when I say this. No matter what we do in life, and whether it's business or government, whatever, we're only as good as our help. And Tracy and the other people that work with her have made our job a lot easier, and we all greatly appreciate that. So on behalf of the entire Board of Commissioners, whereas we are all indebted to those dedicated employees such as Tracy, whose diligence, knowledge, and keen talent for organization help the board serve the constituents more efficiently, and
Where you at?
Right
You
there.
would give me the biggest paragraph. Whereas Ms. Stosenfield, did I say it right? Okay, great. Joined the Board of Commissioners. I only knew, I always call her Tracy. I rarely had to say her last name. Joined the Board of Commissioners staff on February 11, 2013 as a committee coordinator. As a result of her consistently outstanding performance, she was promoted to senior position in 2023. The work of a committee coordinator often goes unnoticed, but is absolutely critical to the smooth execution of board and county business. Tracy uses her skills and extensive experience to prepare and manage official meeting materials and ensure they and all legally required public notices are posted in compliance with the Open Meetings Act and board rules. Further, she contributes to the historical record of the board's action by capturing and maintaining accurate records of official board proceedings, and she always made me look good at caucus. Thank you very much, and I'll turn it over to you.
Where are you at? Third one?
Yeah.
Whereas prior to employment with the board, I'm going to say Tracy held the position as a court reporter, where she developed the aptitude for accuracy and professionalism she brought to her work here. Further, Tracy is a proud Spartan. Yay, go green. Having earned a degree in communications from Michigan State University, and
whereas away from the office, she can be found surrounded by her family and enjoying outdoor living. With the lakefront home, she is happiest when outside, spending time on the boat and soaking up the Michigan summer sun. An avid traveler, Tracy, and her husband are always eager to explore new places. Traveling has created lifelong memories, but one annual journey stays closest to their heart, a special wedding anniversary trip taken every fall. And in quieter moments, she keeps her brain sharp with word searches and crossword puzzles. And whereas,
whereas on the truly special occasion of retirement, we pause to join with board staff and Ms. Stolzenfeld's family, especially her husband Doug and daughter Danielle, and numerous friends to express our sincerest gratitude for her years of service.
you want to finish it?
Now,
Yeah, finish it.
now, therefore, David T. Woodward, Chair of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, and the entire Oakland County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim special commendation to Tracy Stolzenfeld. We extend our best heartfelt wishes for a rewarding retirement filled with peace, enjoyment, and adventure.
I'm just going to say something really quick and short. Thank you so much for the recognition, and this is so wonderful, and you've all signed it. It's been great working with you. Thank you. Thank you.
I just wanted to thank Tracy for 13 years. She was my committee chair. I think you were the whole 13 years of general government. That's how old I am here. It's now called LAGO, but she was my committee coordinator, and we had an awesome time together, and that was a lot of work. So thank you.
Absolutely.
And I'll miss you.
Well, I just wanted to say one thing. Commissioner Long and I mean, we were here when you came on the team, and you brought an excitement for this work. You made us look good. You helped get the work done, and never needing accolades. And for me personally, always figuring out how to get it done one way or another. We're going to miss you. We're so happy in this retirement, and don't be a stranger.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Don't be a stranger.
Can't all be the same.
All right.
Yes. Enjoy it. Enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
Another round of applause for Tracy. Yeah. All right. Our last, final presentation this evening is an update from our friends at Oakland Community Health Network, and I'll call up Dana Lazenby, and I don't know who else from your team you might bring up, but bring you to the podium. Thank you very much for being with us and updating on some activities.
Good evening, and thank you for this opportunity again from Oakland Community Health Network. We are your PIHP, which is a prepaid health plan, so we manage the care for 30,000 people here in Oakland County, and we're also your Community Mental Health Services Program, which is the network provider of mental health care in this community, which means we care for individuals with mental health challenges, individuals living with intellectual and developmental disabilities. That includes our children, as well as substance use disorder. So we're really proud of the work that we're doing. We're expanding the work we're doing, and always the community mental health system is at risk for funding, but we are happy to be a partner with the county and really able to do such amazing things together. So tonight I'm going to do a little twist. We're going to show a video. We had an opportunity to do a video with the American Psychiatric Association Foundation, which is a huge honor for us to highlight the work we're doing with the county in partnership on our crisis services, as well as other things that are coming soon. So this video is a quick little snippet in something a little different. So you'll get my written report, but I also wanted to share this video with you. So thank you. We're trying to advance it. Sorry about that.
We serve over 30,000 people a year, and that number continues to grow. What we see is individuals with mental health challenges, intellectual developmental disabilities, autism included in that, as well as substance use disorder, and everything in between. So our mission really is to continue to strengthen our community so they know where to come and who to call when they need help.
I'm a rights educator and a peer mentor. When you prepare to be a peer mentor, you have to go to OCHN. So OCHN has taught me a lot. It's opened up my world because the state gave me no hope in finding a job. But with OCHN, I found a couple.
Right now, we're really focusing on our big crisis transition and making sure we have a full continuum of care, and meaning that we have all the crisis services, but also the services that prevent crisis, that intervene early for people who need it, and then also lead people on a road to recovery.
In our building, we have our crisis stabilization unit, crisis residential unit, services for children at the Youth and Family Care Connection, our sober support unit. But we also have mobile crisis services where we're able to meet people to provide that safety net for people in Oakland County.
A crisis response system is truly effective when it's multidisciplinary. So that means getting the right people to the table. We recognize that not all incidents require a law enforcement solution, and at the end of the day, a community incident requires a community solution. The benefits of the co-responder model is pretty straightforward. When you pair law enforcement with clinicians and those with clinical expertise, you're bringing a different set of lenses at which you look at threat assessment through. You're bringing somebody with new skills, ability, and knowledge that everybody can learn from. And so we can address problems in a different, proactive way.
Oakland Community Health Network and the FBI have had a very strong relationship now for several years. And so over the past several years, we've done a lot of work in building our threat assessment team. Behavioral threat assessment and management is a multidisciplinary approach to assessing when somebody makes a threat of targeted violence. So we have mental health experts, we have law enforcement officials, school administrators, members from the prosecutor's office, representation from a number of partners. We go about developing a management strategy in which to engage that individual and get them off of the pathway to violence, and if appropriate, into mental health treatment as part of that management plan. There are a number of programs that we have that support other programs. So when you're talking about behavioral threat assessment and management, that program is really supported by our police co-responders, as well as our mental health school navigators, as well as our veterans navigators and other specialty liaisons that we have. The School Mental Health Navigator program is really essential in providing a link between the schools and mental health resources. And so when it comes to behavioral threat assessment and management, that mental health school navigator really becomes a critical team member that can interface between a school-based threat assessment team and the OCHN community behavioral threat assessment and management team.
The partnership that we've had has been really a very productive and stable relationship. They were one of our first providers that was providing crisis services in Michigan, and were one of our pilot test sites to be able to learn about crisis services approximately 6 years ago, and how they're really very productive for getting people immediacy of access, decreasing the time that people are spending in emergency rooms, waiting for someone to be able to see them. Sometimes that can go days. And then the issue of boarding in emergency rooms is really alleviated with using the crisis stabilization and mobile crisis services. And these are outpatient services. So they get an outpatient copay or co-insurance. So there's an economic advantage for the patient, and also that eliminates another barrier and helps them get the care that they need when they need it.
The partnership between what we call the APA Foundation and OCHN is really an opportunity to take national priorities and translate them to local realities. And because of the trusted relationships that OCHN has, not only in southeastern Michigan, but really building a nationwide reputation, they have the ability to not only have a hub where we've worked on our Notice, Talk, Act at School platform, so that they've been able to actually train teachers and staff about how to help their students with well-being. But more importantly, we piloted for the first time ever in the history of the APA Foundation the deployment of trainees into clinical settings. So the first 3 trainees in our experiential program were badged at OCHN. From that opportunity, we got an over $500,000 grant to do the exact same thing in New York, and it never would have happened if we couldn't demonstrate that we knew how to work with local partners to get it done right. And we're grateful that OCHN has deemed us worthy to be a partner.
And the Academy Award goes to OCHN.
So thank you. I don't know if there are any questions or if we have an opportunity for questions, but we're really proud of the work we're doing, and we thank you again for your partnership. We have to do these things together. It does not work if we work separately, because we need the funding, right? But we also need the expertise that we know we have in this community. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Dan. And I know that you regularly participate in PH&S, and so I don't think there are any direct questions right now. Thank you so much for the Mental Health School Navigator program update and all the other information that you provided to us. It's incredibly valuable. Keep up the great work. We look forward to strengthening this partnership going forward.
Thank you.
Thank you. Another round of applause, yes. Okay, that will conclude the presentations, and let's bring us to communications, and I'll call on the clerk to read the communications that we have this evening.
Mr. Chair, there are 3 communications. The first is dated today, June 11th, to the Oakland County Board of Commissioners. Please accept this letter as notification that I have exercised the authority granted to the chair of the board to approve grant applications in excess of $50,000 for the purposes of meeting a submission deadline. Due to the grantor deadlines in the board's grant submission process and calendar, it is not possible to submit the applications for full board consideration in accordance with our normal procedures. I have authorized the submission of the following grant applications. The first is Community Energy Management for the Office of Sustainability in the amount of $50,000. The grant application was May 22nd, 2026. The second is the Automobile Theft Prevention Authority Program for the Oakland County Sheriff's Office in the amount of $3,207,342. The grant application deadline was June 1st, 2026. Sincerely, David T. Woodward, Chairman, Oakland County Board of Commissioners. Second is dated June 4th. It is on communications on SEMCOG letterhead, and it is addressed to Commissioner Taylor. Dear Lenny, I am pleased to appoint you as chairperson of SEMCOG's Finance and Budget Committee. The commitment you made to fill this important role is greatly appreciated. On behalf of SEMCOG members and staff, we look forward to your leadership. This appointment will be effective as of July 1st, 2026. It is my pleasure to recognize your ongoing support and participation by making this important appointment. Sincerely, Gwen Markham, SEMCOG chairperson. And Mr. Chair, the last communication is actually 4 letters, but for the purposes of brevity, I'll combine them into one. Dated today, June 11th. Dear Mr. Woodward, this letter is to request the Oakland County Board of Commissioners confirm my appointment of the following individuals as directors of the Economic Development Corporation of the County of Oakland. This appointment is for 6 years ending June 11th, 2032. The appointments are Lola Are, David M. Jupe, Lolita Lenoir, and Dave Morin. I urge the board's favorable and expeditious approval of these appointments, whose confirmation by the Board of Commissioners is required by Section 4, Subsection 5 of Public Act 338 of 1974 and our EDC's Articles of Incorporation. Sincerely, David Coulter, County Executive. That concludes communications.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Motion to accept the communications. Moved by Lenny, seconded by Spiz. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Let the record reflect that the communications have been received. This will move us to our first public comment. This is the opportunity of members of the public to comment on all items on the regular agenda, which is the consent and the regular agenda. And if you signed up, we'll go through this list. If you could come to the podium when I call your name, I'm going to call a few people up so that we can expeditiously move through that process. We want to make certain that everyone has an opportunity. So if you could keep your comments to 3 minutes. We've got a clock up here to help you help keep you on track. And I ask you to direct your comments to me, the chair, and I will start with the list here. Again, this is on the consent regular agenda. We have another public comment at the end. We don't have many items on the agenda, so if you're not here to talk on issues on the consent agenda or the regular agenda, I'll push you to the top of the second portion. Jenna Lindsay, followed by Taya Lyons.
Hi.
Hi.
Jenna Lindsay. I'm from Clarkston. I just wrote this speech, but here we go. When I was a wide-eyed English major, I studied irony a lot. And now as a 35-year-old, I can confidently say I have never seen a clearer example of irony than what occurred here today. Having a proclamation for family reunification and preservation while ICE continues to operate in Oakland County unimpeded.
Yep. All right.
Thank you. ICE continues to violently rip families apart without restriction here in Oakland County. It's a bitter irony that is making me sick to my stomach. While I understand the importance of the proclamation and honoring the people who do that work, I wish the honor acknowledged the work that's yet to be done. I wonder if this was just a photo op for some good press. All the while, the cries of the community are being ignored. People who are doing the work, putting it all on the line for their neighbors, working tirelessly to prevent families from being ripped apart. The masked and armed, belligerent group called ICE is not welcome in Oakland County. And as commissioners, you have the power to take meaningful action to put an end to their reign of terror, to protect your constituents, to protect your neighbors, defend this community. Get ICE out of Oakland County. Do something that's meaningful. Also, we know that ICE is actively trying to pursue flock data. And Penny, you have said via email that we don't have a flock contract. I went ahead and printed it out. We got it through a FOIA. I would love to give you a copy. This is between the County of Oakland and contractor, and the contractor is listed as Flock Group, Inc., and it includes every amendment for the past 4 years. So I would love to give this to you when you have an opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I just want to remind people to keep comments to the items on the consent and the regular agenda, and then there's an opportunity to talk about anything else. Taya Lyons, followed by Mike Flores.
That was on the agenda. She was talking about the reunification proclamation. Anyway, I'm Taya.
Well, Ms. Lyons, I'll start the clock over in a second. This public comment is to talk about items on the consent agenda and the regular agenda. No, it's on the agenda, Dave. It's a content. The first public comment is to talk about items on the consent and the regular agenda. The second one is to talk about all other items.
It's on the agenda. Unfortunately, I am not surprised that once again, the standard democratic processes have been bypassed so that County Chairman Dave Woodward can approve funding for flock surveillance technology without any input from the public, whose rights are being violated by it. And this time, Dave has ensured that not even the commissioners here in this chamber were given an opportunity to voice a vote on this issue. This is blatant corruption that reinforces why his recall is necessary. Dave, you've had plenty of time to do the right thing. You could have taken some accountability and led a charge to fix your mistakes by banning the use of surveillance technologies. Doing so could have been the saving grace against your recall. But instead, your ego has led you to add fuel to the recall fire at every opportunity. And as a result, we the people cannot wait to begin collecting recall signatures in just a few days. Signing the grant application was not an urgent last-minute thing. This has been voted on for years without issues, and it was even briefly on the Public Health and Safety Committee agenda over a month ago. So there has been plenty of time to do this the right way. It wasn't forgotten. You intentionally ran out the clock so that you alone can approve it as it currently stands with $55,000 for flock included. That said, commissioners, I urge you to remember that despite his actions, Dave is not a dictator. You could pass a resolution to amend this and remove flock safety from the allotments. And finally, once again, I, alongside everyone here, ask that you pass a resolution banning the use of surveillance technologies. Every day that this technology remains operational, we are at risk. We need action on this now, not in a year and a half when the flock contract with Oakland County Sheriff is up for renewal, and certainly not after one of the horror stories that we've seen play out across this country with this technology happens here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mike Flores, followed by Emily Dutton.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Mike Flores de Troy, and I am Oakland County. I want to begin by thanking you for recognizing Family Reunification and Preservation Day. This is a proclamation that means a great deal to me personally. My husband and I are certified foster parents here in Oakland County. Last year, we welcomed a child into our home for 41 days, and this past weekend, we provided respite care for another child in the foster care system. Through those experiences, we've learned something very important. Family preservation matters. When safe and appropriate, keeping families together matters. Helping families stay stable matters. Supporting reunification matters. And we should celebrate the social workers, the foster care parents, the biological families, the community organizations that make the work possible every single day. But as I listened to this proclamation, I couldn't help but think about the word preservation. 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 Because if family preservation is important enough for this board to recognize today, shouldn't it be important enough for this board to recognize every single day? And that's where I struggle. Because while we celebrate family reunification and preservation, there are families in Oakland County experiencing the exact opposite. Parents separated from children, children wondering where their parents are, families living in fear and uncertainty, families experiencing anything but preservation. When I think about Pontiac and communities across Oakland County, I think about the 500 people, Oakland County neighbors, who have been taken from their families over the last several months. Many of those families are families with American citizen children. Children who go to our schools, children who call Oakland County home, children who experience trauma, instability, and separation. Yet this board has spent months doing nothing to address the community asks or concerns. So yes, I support this proclamation. I support family reunification. I support family preservation. But I also believe that our values are measured not by the performative proclamations we pass, but by the actions that we take. Because preservation Because preservation cannot be something we celebrate, while ignoring the fact that families are experiencing the opposite throughout Oakland County. If family preservation matters, then it should matter for all Oakland County families, not just today, not just in this proclamation, but in policy and in practice. Please bring forward the 6th community ask related to ICE out of Oakland County to this floor to preserve all families in Oakland County. Gracias.
Thank you, Mr. Flores. Emily Duthan, followed by Liz Goodall.
My name is Emily Duthan. I'm with CAFE. Thank you for the opportunity to talk to you today. I am so glad you declared today a day to honor family preservation and unification. I think one of the prime functions of government is to protect the security of children and the sanctity of families. That's why it's such a tragedy to see our government tear apart Oakland County families. ICE has abducted about 400 Oakland County, Pontiac residents, and even more residents in Oakland County. That's hundreds of Oakland County families torn apart by our government this year. Often, ICE takes a family breadwinner, leaving the mother and children with no means of support. Many of these spouses and children are American citizens. Many residents are choosing to self-deport, coerced into self-deporting, so that they can stop living in fear that this government will tear apart their family any day. They must leave this country to reunify and preserve their family. And that's what's so ironic when Oakland County declares family preservation and unification. CAFE has personally verified that these abductions are happening in Oakland County by heavily armed masked men in bulletproof vests who refuse to identify themselves. Here in Oakland County, I see schools that have lost so many students that they need to reduce the number of classrooms. Apartment complexes, which are half empty because they have lost so many residents. What impact is this having on local businesses and our economy, losing so many workers and customers? I see this. All of us have seen this happening with our own eyes here in Oakland County. We see it happening. We document it happening. Some claim that ICE is taking the worst of the worst, but ICE's own data contradict this. An overwhelming majority, 73% of the detainees by ICE have no criminal record. 87% of detainees at Michigan's North Lake Detention Facility have no criminal record. Most detainees are here lawfully, legally, and they are being unlawfully detained. I see it. I see their legal paperwork when I encounter this. Time and time again, CAFE sees that ICE is taking immigrants from Oakland County who are here legally with Social Security cards, work permits, driver's licenses, and more. ICE is abducting people who have jobs and are paying taxes without allowing them to show their papers. I see their papers. ICE doesn't look at them. In fact, ICE often confiscates their cars and discards their papers and then deports them. Perhaps the biggest tragedy is that after 5 months, Oakland County commissioners appear helpless to protect our residents. You have done nothing to require judicial warrants for ICE to detain someone on county property or prohibit local law enforcement agents from acting as immigration agents. Obviously, the immigrants CAFE are helping are unable to be here in person. We have asked volunteers to tell the stories of some of the Oakland County families torn apart by ICE. Let's hold these candles to honor our neighbors while we hear some of these stories. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Duthan. And again, I'm just going to add, I think that there are a number of people to comment on a number of items. If it's not an item on the consent agenda or the regular agenda, I ask that you hold those comments for the time when people are invited to comment on everything. So, Liz Goodall, followed by Alexis Crummy.
Thank you. Again, family preservation and unification is vitally important to our community. And here in Oakland County, we've been experiencing families torn apart. On Friday, April 10th, a work crew, 6 Latino contractors, were repairing the interior of a house on Crystal Lake Road that had been badly damaged in a house fire. A neighbor heard a gunshot and called the sheriff, and a dozen marked and unmarked police cars arrived. The sheriff rounded up the usual suspects, the 6 Latinos that were repairing a house. The sheriff took them to the Oakland County Jail, even though there was no evidence they had anything to do with the shooting and didn't match the description of the shooter. Cafe confirmed that at least 3 of the construction workers were here legally. The Oakland County Inmate Locator reported that those 3 people were released with no charge, but instead of releasing them, the sheriff has turned them over to ICE. We don't know how this happened, but we ask that our Board of Commissioners perhaps look into what's happening here, because our neighbors are disappearing. One of the men, Miguel, is 25 years old with a wife and a 2-month baby at home. All 3 men were transferred to the North Lake Detention Center within 24 hours of this incident. All 3 men who were in this country legally, working and paying taxes, were deported without due process in less than a week. We talk about family preservation and unification, but it doesn't seem to be happening. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. Alexis Cromie, followed by John Caskey.
I would like to talk with her, please, because it's her decision if she wants
you to go away, but you're not. Let me just tell you, okay? She needs a ride. She doesn't have a driver's license.
Right.
You can either take her right now.
Okay, fine. I'll drive her.
You'll drive her? Hey, go. All right.
That was on my way to work yesterday morning. I was late. ICE was blocking the road and they made us go from a 3-lane to a 1-lane. That man that you heard talking was an ICE agent asking one of my friends who I called because I was late to work to appear on the scene, and they took her husband and 2 other men and they left her with no ride. She couldn't drive because she didn't have her papers or didn't have her driver's license. I don't know what they were going to do with her. They left her. I don't know what would have happened if I didn't see it or call my friend to go get them. This is happening. This is real, and we are doing the work that you are not. I have more. Yerelis Moreno Lopez is at North Lake right now. You can read her story. She's been in the news. Her 3 grandchildren and her 8-year-old son have been left alone with her husband. But there's no reunification for them. There's no preservation for them. And if you're going to continue telling us that this isn't on the agenda, then you are continuing telling us that these people are not our community, that these people are not the people that you're fighting for. This is our community. These are our people. Mi gente, my people.
Thank you. John Caskey, followed by Ann Lehman.
John Koski, Troy, Michigan. I'm here to read the story of Jose, a young man that was picked up by ICE, albeit he was holding a long-term valid work permit. At the beginning of May, Jose finally found some good news. His family saved up enough money to pay his bond to get him released. He had been in North Lake Detention Center for 6 months. ICE had detained him while he was driving to work, and he had never been convicted of any crime. A cafe partner organization called the Overground Railroad mobilized to get him home. Volunteer drivers picked him up from the concentration camp and drove him to a church to get him some food, some water, and some clothing. We found that the first thing that released immigrants want is to be able to call their families. A relay of drivers then drove him to Grand Rapids and then to Lansing, where cafe volunteers picked him up and drove him to his family in Southeast Michigan. He cried tears of joy when he finally got to see his mother and his family again. He was thrilled to celebrate his 30th birthday at home. But ICE's cruelty doesn't end there. It doesn't stop when immigrants are released on bond. Jose had to check in at the Detroit Immigration Center 2 days after getting home. He was told that the office would return his ID and his work permits, which had been confiscated when he was in prison. Cafe accompanied him to the immigration office, but his paperwork was not there. Immigration told him to call Northlake Detention Center for the paperwork. Northlake said that they had never gotten the paperwork and that he should call Detroit. Jose received an email saying that he needed to go back to the Detroit field office in person to get his paperwork back. He drove 45 minutes to the office again, only to be told that there was no paperwork and that it was probably not even in Michigan. Well, Jose lives in Michigan. Jose was picked up by ICE in Michigan, and he was detained in Michigan. So where's his paperwork? ICE told him that he should file again, meaning pay all of the money to get a new one. When Cafe emailed to figure out what could be done about it, we were told that ICE would be looking into thousands of such work permit authorizations, and he may not even qualify any longer. We believe that ICE is deliberately confiscating long-term work permits from immigrants, forcing them to pay, and then getting permits that expire every year.
Thank you, sir. Ann Lehman, followed by Dallas Oliver, and then John Paul Torres.
Ann Lehman from Davisburg. I too am with Cafe. We've just heard two stories. Miguel, a husband and new father, was separated from his wife and 2-month-old baby despite working, despite paying taxes, despite being here legally. Jose, who spent months in detention, only to be released into a maze of bureaucracy designed to make his life even more difficult and difficult for him to rebuild his life and support his family. These are not mere statistics. These are real people. When we talk about immigration policy, it's easy for some people to reduce the conversation to politics. But tonight, we've been reminded that behind every policy decision is a family. Behind every deportation is a community left grieving. The question before us is not whether we agree on every aspect of immigration policy. The question is whether we believe families deserve dignity, due process, and basic human rights. Because when a child is left terrorized, when a worker is handed over to ICE despite no criminal charges, all of us should be alarmed. And here in Oakland County, the silence has been deafening. The atrophy of our Oakland County commissioners, your failure to act while families are being ripped apart in our own communities is a travesty. You have the power to advocate for the constitutional rights of every person who calls its community home, yet you choose inaction. Inaction has its consequences. Inaction means another family like Miguel's is left wondering how they will survive. Inaction means another person like Jose faces needless hardship after already enduring a horrifying detention. Tonight we honor these families, but honoring them is not enough. For months we've been speaking before this board, pleading for action. We have shared stories and the heartbreaking realities of families torn apart by detention and deportation. We've asked you to hold ICE accountable when constitutional rights are violated. We've asked you to invest in legal aid, food assistance, and emergency support for families suddenly deprived of a parent, a spouse, a breadwinner. Yet month after month, too many of our calls have been met with silence, delay, or indifference. While families endure trauma, your response has been to look away. Every day that passes without meaningful action is another day that allows cruelty to prevail. Don't make us remember you as commissioners who wanted mere political convenience. Be the commissioners that had the courage to act. For Miguel, for Jose, and for every family living in fear.
Thank you very much. Dallas Oliver, followed by John Paul Torres. And again, I'm just asking people to please speak to the consent agenda and the regular agenda. Everyone will be afforded an opportunity to speak. I think Dallas isn't here. John Paul Torres.
Thank you, Chairman. So I saw Oakland County Health Network present this evening, and I'm a proud 9-year member of Oakland County Health Network. They do great work. They spoke about the crisis resources and the social workers that actually go out to incidents that occur. And these are very important things because a lot of these issues that transpire in our communities need a mental health advocate. They need a social worker there because they connect with together so much. One of the things that I'm most proud of being on that board is being part of that. Now, to that extent, I cannot help but think of the 287G agreements that happen within our communities. And it's something that we are careful and mindful of and that we watch for the greater Oakland County area. These 287G agreements can effectively allow for these police officers to become ICE agents, to take people into custody. And just a moment of privilege. As I stand here today, I have an enormity of respect for many of you. I've worked with many of you for years. I have worked with the chairman for years. And I remember many of the good things that Oakland County has done. Oakland County was a lifeline for school districts during the COVID-19 pandemic, in particularly bringing $4 million to the Waterford School District. But what I also see, and I hear people saying, that with great power comes great responsibility. And we cannot ignore this issue on immigration that we have in our communities. I look around this room and I hear the people who are advocating and I appreciate them. But aside from Mike and the young lady that spoke earlier, they don't look like me. They don't look like us, right? Because I can tell you my people are afraid. The Hispanic community, the Latino community in Oakland County is afraid. We are seeing it firsthand. People that look like me, that have my last name, under the Supreme Court ruling, we can be detained. I can simply be detained because my last name is Torres and I speak the native tongue of my parents. I want you all to be cognizant of that and to be respectful of it and understand that we experience what is happening in our communities on a different level. We have to be aware of the 287G agreements, aware of what our Oakland County sheriffs are doing, aware of the fact that we need to make sure that we have safe havens in areas that our immigrant communities can come in and feel safe and not have anybody come in and come after them without a judicial warrant. I appreciate the opportunity. John Paul Torres.
Thank you, Mr. Torres. Next up, we've got Jean Bartos, followed by Julie Button, and then Philip Decker.
Jean Bartas, Farmington Hills. On this day of celebration of family reunification and preservation, I'm here to tell you that the families living and working in Oakland County, I am Oakland County, and I am not okay. We are not okay because you, Commissioner Dave Woodward, said in a written statement to Fox News clearly what you think of all of us here. You said that we are stirring up chaos or we're advocates for political violence. We are advocates for peace, every one of us. Yes, I don't look like a Torres, but I care. I have a heart. I don't know where the heart has gone from here. I really don't. 500 people have been kidnapped. Mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, people who have chosen Oakland County as their home, as their place to live and care and work and pay taxes. So we know Dave doesn't have a heart, but I'm going to beg you, Angela Powell, chairman of the Oakland County Community Safety and Civil Rights Ad Hoc Committee, on this day, this celebration of family reunification, to show some heart and convene a long overdue meeting of this committee. I would like this committee to approve $50,000 for legal aid, $100,000 to address food insecurity, add 2 community members to the Community Safety and Civil Rights Ad Hoc Committee, to codify into policy no ICE activity on any Oakland County property, especially schools, libraries, anywhere where families, People. I refuse to use the word immigrant. These are people. Every time you say immigrant, you're dehumanizing them, and you're taking the heart out of it. We are all just people. We are a hair's width away from some crisis in our life at any time. And wouldn't you like to have a hand to hold when that happens to you? That's what these people need. No 287 agreements ever. Codify it, write it down. No Clemis Authority, no contracts with DHS and ICE. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Julie Button, followed by Philip Decker. And then Ricardo Cantu.
I was mistakenly put on this list. You can
You're
shift
You're
me
first of the next
to
one.
the other list, and I'll wait.
Philip Decker, followed by Ricardo Cantu.
So in regards to the Auto Theft Prevention Task Force grant, that includes $50,000 for flock cameras, I have been wasting so much of my time and energy trying to think of talking points about why flock is bad. And then I realized that I could just let flock's own reputation speak for themselves. So I have a list, a short list, of some of the bad things flock has done. June 6, 2025. A Texas sheriff tracks down a woman who had an abortion to Illinois using Flock's national search data. It's been illegal in Illinois since 2024 for ALPR data to track out-of-state abortion seekers. June 18th, 2025. Evanston police Evanston, Illinois, turn off their national sharing in response to this. August 20th, 2025. Illinois Secretary of State Alexi Gianlius, don't know his name well, orders a sample audit of ALPR data, finds that Flock has shared data with U.S. Border Patrol, ICE, and Homeland Security investigations in violation of Illinois state law. August 26, Evanston cancels their contract with Flock's after they find the company had passed data from the ALPR system to Immigration Enforcement, HSI, Homeland Security, and Border Patrol. Evanston removes the cameras. August 27th, 2025, per a statement from Flock's chief legal officer, Dan Haley, we are aware of no such legal basis for your apparent belief that the city may relieve itself of clear contractual obligations simply by declaring its intent to not be bound by them. Please be advised that absent clear identification of the alleged breach, we will take all necessary steps to enforce our agreement. Don't want to work with us after you signed a contract? Too bad, cameras stay up. Flock reinstalled the cameras against the city's wishes without their permission. August 2025, through public records requests, residents of Denver, Colorado find that Flock had given Customs and Border Protection, Homeland Security, ICE, how many other federal agencies, access to their ALPR system without the city's knowledge or consent. This was part of a pilot program with the federal government, despite Flock making assurances to Denver City Council that they had no business with the federal government. Quote from Council President Amanda Sandoval, "They lied to my face." September 23rd, 2025, City of Evanston sends a cease and desist to Flock Safety to get them to remove the cameras. You have to get involved, have to threaten legal action to get Flock to take their cameras down, and they still won't do it. September 24th, 2025, in response to an inquiry about why Flock reinstalled the cameras, a spokesperson for the company wrote, "We're working through the issue with the City of Evanston. The cameras are shut off and will be uninstalled." But on September 30th, the news organization Evanston Now found that the cameras were still on and still scanning license plates.
Thank you, Mr. Decker. Ricardo Cantu, and then Michelle Pope. Hey, excuse me, Ricardo, the floor is yours.
Family unification is great, but it's entirely expected of all of you. It is your jobs to do the right thing no matter what, even when it seems impossible, when it's inconvenient. That's what's expected of all of you. I had to watch you guys jerk each other around on your accomplishments for 30 minutes What does it matter if people are being unified when we're letting ICE rip children out of their households? I shouldn't have to clap and cheer for something that's expected of you. You're all cowards. I'm tired of seeing that we're more concerned with playing the game of politics instead of outright denying evil things entry into our country, into our county, into our towns, into any place. Teddy Roosevelt put together the Rough Riders, and he rode them into war on a whim. The people of Athens, Tennessee fought against their corrupt police force when it was necessary, and it was too much to ignore. Now is the time to assemble and be swift and decisive about removing evil from every corner of this country. You're all cowards, and all your good deeds are like dirty rags. Can you look me in the eyes and tell me that each and every one of you are doing what's right? That's not enough! This behavior, all of this is what's going to lead to a civil war. That's what's going to happen when you people can't stand up and do your job. I'm sick of it. I got to grow up in this world, and so does my little niece. My nieces and nephews, all of them. What? We're the first generation that's going to have to fight against our own government? Is that what's going to happen? You people are unbelievable. Fucking unbelievable.
Well, actually, Michelle Pope. Was it Popey? Michelle? Yep. And then Autumn Baker and then Marguerite Gupta.
Good morning, members of the board. I stand before you as a product of the foster care system, a system that taught me exactly what happens when vulnerable people are handed over to unaccountable institutions. I'm returning to this podium to address the accelerated expansion of the National Security Presidential Memorandum 7. This federal framework has widened threat criteria to target peaceful labor and community organizing, cited by the ACLU. At the same time, we see how privatization escalates the violence, including over at Delaney Hall. At that facility, a private, for-profit corporation, the GEO Group, is operating an environment where protesters and detainees are clashing with the police. A private corporation is assaulting individual citizens with the support of the local police. We've been repeatedly told that these automated license plate reader networks deployed by Flock Safety is not for surveillance. Let's define surveillance by its technical reality. It is the systemic, persistent tracking of an individual's movements, associations, and daily habits over time. Flock operates as the overreaching framework to enforce the tracking networks. To claim it's benign is to remain completely oblivious. We need to be aware of the software updates that can allow these to become even more harmful to the citizens. Existing hardware can be modified instantly with more pervasive tracking software, challenging data collection rules overnight. Furthermore, there's no dual authorization required to access this dragnet, stripping away fundamental Fourth Amendment safeguards. Performative anti-ICE ideas read aloud to the public fall entirely on deaf ears when our county actively houses the centralized administrative legal teams for ICE at One Town Square in Southfield. We are providing the infrastructure for federal legal teams while private companies enforce the crackdowns on the ground. Let's be completely clear about local resources and transparency. Demanding civil oversight is not anti-police. What's actually anti-police is failing to provide Orion Township with their requested financial numbers. What's also anti-police is Michigan House Bill 6058 being held back, a bill that explicitly protects the health care insurance of our local police officers, firefighters, teacher, and municipality workers. It has already been approved by the legislature, but yet is deliberately being held from the governor's desk, allowing our public servants completely exposed. What's to stop us from getting sued like Washtenaw? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Autumn Baker and Marguerite Gupta.
Hi, Dave, I think you remember me. Everyone else, I'm Autumn Baker. I'm not much of a politician, but I am a civil servant at Oakland University. I'm commenting on the agenda item 12A, the sponsorship of the Village of Wolverine Lake 39th Annual Fireworks Display, because I'm concerned about how prudent it is, how efficiently it will serve Oakland County and our residents, including myself, including 18,000 students that attend Oakland University who are my constituents. For an example, after the recall petition started going around and we had a conversation over lunch, you told me 100,000 could provide legal aid for 1 or 2 people. A more thoughtful and efficient estimate I've heard is 3,000 for a 4-hour legal clinic. 33 clinics at $100,000 or 17 clinics at $50,000 could surely help more than 2 people. Have we applied that kind of efficiency and prudence to the item 12A? Also, how long do we have to keep begging for 100,000 in legal aid from $1 billion county government? Thank you.
Thank you, Autumn. Marguerite Gupta.
Hey guys, Margaret Gupta, Oakland Township. I've got a couple items I'm going to talk about on the agenda. The first one is reunification statement. The judge said it's family-centered, strategically bring back together in a meaningful way. The key word strategic. Just FYI, my kids were taken away from me, parenting and custodial rights on false allegations by Judge Lisa Langton. Even though she corrupted 5 Zoom hearing records, the arbitrator altered 2 different emails to invalidate how smart of a lawyer can do that, along with multiple other corruption. So Family Reunification Day, that's great. You guys had a great show up here. But what is the depth of it? What really, is it shallow or is it deep? Second, federal funds and state funds, everybody in this place should know that the reason why these people have to sit here and look at us with no facial expression because you guys are dependent on federal funding and state funding. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter if we have emotions. It doesn't matter if we have feelings here. It's about funding. I get it. So congratulations on the Rain Smart rebate program. It freaking grew. It was a huge home run. This wasn't just a pilot program that said, hey, you guys did great. This is a federal pilot program that said, Oakland County, you hit it out of the park. We want more. They went up to $780,000 for a federal grant for the next year and a half or 2 years, I think. It's fantastic. And I hope every one of you commissioners get out there and say, if it's in your area, it's not in all areas, get involved. This is a fantastic program. But on the flip side, the splash part, I think that's at the end. I don't know what item number it is. Sheriff's dropped the frickin' ball. $380,000 has to be given up. And of course, it's probably going to go into the all-purpose fund, or it's going to go back to OCHN. But $300,000 really can give a lot to people who are just asking for $50,000 or $100,000 for legal aid. Second of all, and the most important is creating a new position in the protection office, PPOs. Chris Bujak comes up to you. Who is Chris Bujak? She is the business operations manager, not just of the circuit court, but of both probate and circuit. She needs an immediate response. Right now, we need it yesterday. She's also the person that said she wanted the probate court coordinator position. We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars here just for 2 new positions. But she won't investigate fraud upon the court committed by multiple court officers, which means she doesn't want to adhere to the rules. And just says, when a court fails to investigate fraud upon itself, it commits a multi-layer legal and constitutional violation, impairing judicial integrity, delegitimizing its judgments, violating due process, allowing protection of criminal conduct go unpunished, and eroding public confidence. Talk about the Constitution. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gupta. Okay, that will conclude the first public comment, and it'll move us to reports of standing committees. And first up is the consent agenda. Is there a motion for the consent agenda? Moved by Commissioner Gingell, seconded by Commissioner Hoffman. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Commissioner Markham.
Thank you, Commissioner Chair Woodward.
I'd like to address one of the items, excuse me, that came out of the Finance Committee with a unanimous vote, which is why it's on the consent agenda. It is the reallocation of the American Rescue Plan funding. And as you recall, Oakland County received over $240 million as part of the American Rescue Plan in 2023. This item details the reallocation of $1.5 million in unused funding for the undue medical debt program. We didn't end up having to spend that money, and a few smaller items. $1.2 million of that will be transferred to the Housing Trust Fund so that we can help acquire homes and expand our transitional housing capacity in Oakland County. And the remaining $380,000 goes to eligible personnel expenses, which allows us to free up the same amount of general fund support to start a legal aid program through the county's neighborhood and housing development division. And I think that's a real win. That's showing that we are spending every penny of the American Rescue Plan funding before the end of the year 2026 when it has to be spent.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner Markham. Anybody else? Commissioner Lubes, followed by Commissioner Smith-Charles.
I would like to note on the consent agenda about the Michigan State Housing Development provided a $500,000 grant to us to expand emergency shelter capacity. These funds will provide emergency hotel accommodations, temporary shelter beds, transportation to shelter and services, and staffing support for people in Oakland County.
Right, and this leans into the homeless prevention work that the county's been undertaking. Commissioner Smith-Charles.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You know, in Economic Development Infrastructure Committee meeting, we've tackled a lot of things. But in particular, I wanted to highlight in our most recent reporting from our Workforce Development Group, which is run by the amazing Jennifer Llewellyn. A lot of folks don't know that Oakland County, in partnership with 6 other Michigan Works offices, has distributed $1.2 million in child care scholarships, allowing for families to be able to pay for the child care. And so what I wanted to make sure to highlight is that it's paid directly to the licensed child care facility. They were able to outreach to community partners, child care centers, and school districts to make this happen. And so in total, we were able to serve 1,007 families with $1,000 scholarships, and that's how we ended up with the $1.2 million awarded. The second and final thing I wanted to highlight is in front of all of you with regards to the local road improvement plan. And why is this relevant? Because, you know, wonderful Gretchen fixed the doggone roads, but most of that was state roads, state infrastructure. And so this board, long before I got here, decided to partner with our local entities with funding. And so we have been able to contribute roughly $2.1 million in contributions to some of these road projects, and everyone's community has been able to take advantage of this, unless the community chose that they didn't want to or they just ghosted us, and we weren't able to. But the good news is, if a community happens to come up with a project, there's still time. So we would ask that you would reach out to Amy Aubrey. If you need that information, just contact the board office, and we can get you on there. But, you know, promises made, promises kept. So I'm really grateful for that. And that's where I'll leave it at. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Smith-Charles. Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Just want to give a couple of highlights here from the consent agenda report of the Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee today. The first one that anyone who knows me a little bit knows that I'm a nerd for horticulture and all the green things. We've got a few really exciting grant programs for dealing with invasive species. One of them is $42,000 that we got from the State Eagle Department to work with 44 of our municipalities and nonprofit partners to help deal specifically European frog bit This is one that was new to me, but European frogbit is tiny green lily pads that run amok over a lot of our ponds, and it's real bad. So $42,000 to help combat that, European frogbit. And then the other one is $80,000 from MDNR, the Michigan Department of Natural Resources, to help kind of more generally with this is not a new program for us, but a multi-year program with invasives in our county right-of-ways, so specifically along roads, along highways. You know them, you love them, the Phragmites, and a bunch of other species. So that's one big thing on our report today. But then another one that really means a lot to me is this is the approval of our 5th year of doing this. It's an annual partnership between Oakland County Parks and Metro Parks for the provision of tuition-free learn-to-swim programming for up to 100 kids aged 5 to 13 during the summer months. The American Red Cross still says that more than 60% of American children nationally lack sufficient swim safety skills, and that number is significantly higher, especially in communities of color. We lose way too many kids, not just in Oakland County, but certainly across the state and the nation, to drowning, and this is just one small stroke in the right direction. So thank you, super excited.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Cavell.
Thank you, Chair. One, it's very cool that you guys are all giving updates on how your taxes are used to help all of us here in our community. I do want to just make a couple of quick things. Commissioner Spiz will remember working with me on the child care scholarship that the executive did not include in the fiscal year 2024 budget. So we did do that child care scholarship program for 1 year to help 1,007 families, because I remember working on it across the aisle with Spiz, and then it was not renewed, just update there. Because that report is of ARPA money, which is going back 4 years. Second, one way we could also add more money to housing is by cutting the $2.5 million obligation we're contributing to FLOC and put it towards housing. And then third,
Commissioner, I remind you, please speak
and
to
then
items
third,
on the consent
I do
agenda.
want to just say that it's very cool that we're fighting the European frogbit, but we could also be ending surveillance and putting $100,000 into legal aid.
Thank you, Commissioner Cavell. Any further discussion on the consent agenda? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, will you please prompt the vote on the consent agenda?
Mr. Chair, there are 19 yeas, 0 nays.
A sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the consent agenda is adopted. Now I'll move us to the regular agenda, and I think we've got 2 items in the 2 committees. I'll call on the Honorable Brendan Johnson, the Chair of the Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee, for his item.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's a very quick item, so I walk all the way up here. Mr. Chair, there's only one item on the regular agenda of the Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee today, and it's the reappointment of Mr. Martin Manna as Oakland County Resident Representative to the Land Bank Authority for a 3-year term beginning August 18th, 2026 and concluding August 17th, 2029.
Moved by Commissioner Johnson, seconded by Commissioner Hoffman. Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Mr. Chair, there are 19 yeas, 0 nays.
A sufficient number voting in the affirmative. The appointment is confirmed. Commissioner Johnson.
That concludes the report of the Committee of Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee.
Thank you very much. And next I'll call on the Honorable Yolanda Smith-Charles, the Chair of the Economic Development and Infrastructure Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I am before you today because there was a request to pull from consent the motion to amend the existing contract with Auger, Klein, and Aller Architects for an increased amount of $111,378 to cover the cost of work having been completed to date pursuant to the terms in the contract.
Moved by Commissioner Smith-Charles, seconded by Commissioner Gingell. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, Mr. Clerk, please prompt the vote. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair, there are 17 yeas, 2 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative. The resolution is adopted. Commissioner Smith-Charles.
That concludes items under EDI. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, that will bring us to new and miscellaneous business. And I think there's a few items for introduction. If members refresh, I will call on Commissioner Powell for the first item.
I'd like to submit to finance the sponsorship of the 2026 Blues in the Streets event in downtown Pontiac.
Referred to finance without objection. Next, I'll call on Commissioner Smith-Charles.
Hi there, Mr. Chair.
Didn't
It
talk about
looks
this one.
like this might be a request for immediate consideration under new business, if that looks correct. But
Well, why don't we come back to it? Let's do
yeah.
all the other ones, then we'll come back to it.
Let's, okay.
Commissioner Smith-Charles on the next item.
Yes, I am looking to refer to the appropriate committee a resolution opposing Michigan constitutional amendment that would disenfranchise Oakland County citizens.
Refer to Legislative Affairs without objection. Next up, I'll call on Commissioner Gershenson, Vice Chair Gershenson.
Thank you. I'd like to introduce the sponsorship for Disarmory Ministries for their gun buyback events and refer to finance.
Refer to Finance without objection. Commissioner Markham.
And I'd like to move support for the Novi Youth Assistance Back to School program and refer it to finance as a special project.
Refer to Finance without objection. All right, bring us back to the main item, or the item we just passed over. So Commissioner Smith-Charles, so you're moving for immediate consideration of this at this moment?
I am.
Commissioner Smith-Charles moves immediate consideration. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Markham. All in favor of immediate consideration, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. Nay. The ayes have it. Commissioner Smith-Charles moves the resolution, seconded by Commissioner Markham. Commissioner Smith-Charles, can you speak to this item?
Yes, thank you. And I don't think Ann Capella is in the audience. If she is, let me know. But
who are you looking for?
Ann Capella from Royal Oak Township. But we didn't expect her to be here. So basically, commissioners, what is before you is, and it's under immediate consideration because, as it states here, Charter Township of Royal Oak was awarded a grant upon taking the roof off of the pavilion. There were some foundational things that were uncovered, and of course, they didn't want to put a roof on something that didn't have a solid foundation. So they were able to pull together resources from the Charter Township of Royal Oak, from Oakland County Parks, and from the DNR, which I don't think is called DNR anymore, to help them with this shortfall. And they were short about $5K. And so I talked with the finance chair and certainly appreciate it being in front of everyone right now, and would love for folks to support it. I can understand if you don't, but I am bringing this to you all, and so we'll just see where it lands. But it would definitely help in terms of economic development and placemaking in Royal Oak Township, which has been viciously underserved for beyond my lifetime.
And so this is part of a larger $1.25 million renovation. This particular project's $80,000, and there's the shortfall there.
Yes.
Got it. Commissioner Long.
Okay, thank you, Chairman Woodward. Commissioner Smith-Charles, I just really wish that you would have came over to our caucus and said something about this, because this is the first time hearing about this. So I'm not going to support it. I just don't know enough about it. I know you gave a little, summary, but just in future, if we used to just go over different caucuses so we could have known. And we used to get, on all these other sponsorships, I mean, I'm gonna say in the past, we used to get even resolutions to our caucuses that were being introduced, so you can kind of look at them and see where they're referring to. So just for lack of information on tonight, I'm a no. I don't know if I would have voted yes in committee when I saw it further, but I'm a no for that. So just for future, if you could just walk over to our caucus, for everyone, us included on our side, walk over to the caucus and say what you're introducing, especially when it says suspension of the rules or for immediate consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Long. Commissioner Gingell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to say, at this point, with just the limited time, I'm going to not support this item either. And my biggest concern is just the dollars that we had in this fund that we generally use for things like community events and sponsorships, et cetera. They're typically not going into hard projects, construction projects. And I can appreciate the request and the need, but my concern is this is very likely going to set precedent and open the door for other communities to come and want money for this building and that building and other things, which is really the responsibility of the local municipality, in my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Cavell.
Thank you, Chair. I will support this because I understand, having formerly represented Royal Oak Township and just being a conscious commissioner for years, right? Royal Oak Township is the poorest jurisdiction in Oakland County. It's the poorest of the 62 CVTs. And so I can understand the need for a gap funding for a project. I do want to highlight, though, if the sponsor, Commissioner Yolanda Smith-Charles, is open to it, I mean, I would be willing to offer more money to Royal Oak Township to help Royal Oak Township not have to contribute so much from its general fund if we were to go through the committee process, just because they're putting in $30K from their general fund, and their general fund is like $1 million a year. So it's a big number for them, and they have a huge need as a community. I understand the urgency, but this is also part of a $1.25 million renovation, and it takes 4 to 6 weeks for the county to process payments and deliver. So if Commissioner Smith-Charles is willing, I mean, 10 or 15K from our special projects fund makes sense to me to then make a dent in the Royal Oak Township match. I'll support either way, because I understand that, we have to, this is an urgent need. I can understand that, but I would be super down for 15K for Royal Oak Township, so that Royal Oak Township doesn't have to spend its limited own money on this as much. So since we're doing it live, I would talk about this before or in a committee, but since I'm not on committees anymore, thanks to you, Chair, we're doing it live. But Yolanda, real offer, real suggestion of really trying to work together here. I think 15K makes sense if we go through the process, so that Royal Oak Township has to chip in 20K instead of 30K. Because again, their budget is very tight. Like the Michigan State Police polices Royal Oak Township because they cannot afford a police officer, let alone a department.
Let's keep the comments to the item before us. Commissioner Johnson.
Thanks. Commissioner Long, this is the first time I'm seeing this too, so I don't know that you're necessarily caught off guard. And it's funny, I just used that meme in a text last week, so I think about that a lot. I think my position is like a hodgepodge mixture of a lot of y'all's. Third spaces matter a lot, and I care a lot about third spaces. I do feel strongly about that. I also think that $5,000 in the grand scheme of everything is not a lot of money, but I'm a protocol hawk, and I like procedure a lot. And I do think that there is value in going through the committee process, especially when, and I see that Oakland County Parks is already part of this, but they have funds that I think are more suited for this type of grant, kind of like this Stop Fill Gap grant funding, than this fund that we're proposing to take it out of. I just in terms of budgets, that one makes more sense to me, and I see those all the time in my committee, because Parks goes through Lago. So that's kind of my thoughts. If we're just sharing thoughts right now, voting wise, I have no idea because those are my thoughts.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Spiz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I can appreciate this request, but it opens up many questions for me. Being a former member of EDI, I think you can appreciate, I like to see plans, I like to understand what's going on. Seeing for this for the first time 5 minutes ago, it's hard for me to support. I understand the ask, and I can appreciate Commissioner Johnson's point. You know, this may fit better under the Parks and Rec side of things for that $5,000. $5,000 in the scheme of things is not a lot of money for this project or for this board. We spent higher amounts on things that, thank you very much, that many don't support, right? So to me, I'd rather see this go through the committee process. I can ask my questions, other commissioners can ask their questions, we can understand the designs, we can understand what's the issue, and have a full debate and discussion about the topic. I would rather see this referred to committee for further discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Seeing no. All right, seeing no further discussion. Commissioner Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sorry about the last minute comment. My concern is that if we don't do this, they've already exposed it, the contractor moves on and then comes back whenever they're ready after their next job because the contractor's already slated this job at a certain timeline. So then is that going to be exposed and is it going to get done this year? So we might be exposing the project to more fracture and thaw and what have you, because coming from the construction field, the contractor's there, they're ready to move on, they got a deadline. That's my concern, and maybe that's why they're coming through this process first over Parks. So that's my comment, so I'll be voting yes on this.
Okay, seeing no further discussion, Commissioner Hoffman.
Thank you, Chairman Woodward. I tend to agree with comments on both sides of the aisle. I think this should go through the process. I also think, as Commissioner Gingell stated, this fund was set up to promote different events in our communities. It might set a precedent. And I like Commissioner Johnson's thought about going back to the Parks and Rec. We did increase the Parks and Rec millage. And again, it's not a large amount of money, but I think there's got to be another place to get that money instead of taking it out of what was the intent of this fund to start with.
Thank you very much. Seeing no further discussion, Mr. Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Mr. Chair, there are 12 yeas, 7 nays.
A sufficient number voting the affirmative, the resolution is adopted. I think that concludes all the new and miscellaneous business. Move us to announcements. The announcements, seeing none, will move us now to our second public comment. This is the opportunity for any member of the public to speak, and I'm going to first call on Julie Button. The same general rules apply. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes and direct them to me, the chair. Julie, welcome. Yep. Is it on? Is the mic on? Is it unplugged?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Disclosure. This is my second Oakland County Commissioners meeting. And sadly, my first experience was a meeting where the commissioners voted to approve flock cameras despite overwhelming opposition by the 200 assembled constituents. As a senior citizen who spent my life supporting and believing in democracy, I was gobsmacked. As I perused the commissioners, all of you, I wondered how y'all got to where you are. At some point, I assume you ran for public office with the intention of serving your community. How did your vision and mission become so distorted that you think it's okay to ignore an assembly of those you serve and think you have absolutely no obligation to listen and consider their point of view. Upon further consideration, I realize that you no longer believe you owe any obligation to your constituents. The only conclusion from such behavior is that you buy into the corporate greed narrative. Truth, as a retired senior, I cannot imagine anyone on the planet showing a whit of interest in my comings and goings. I speak today for my neighbors and fellow Oakland County residents. First of all, the collection of that data for an undisclosed use breaches constitutional rights. Secondly, as a finance major and who is keenly aware of budgetary concerns and fiscal responsibility, if you're looking for a way to spend a cool $2.5 million, start with roads, infrastructure, absolutely anything that enriches the lives of Oakland County residents. Along the same vein, you've had months to approve a plan regarding immigration policies and procedures. I will not list the committee's acts because you're well aware of legal aid, food insecurities, ICE movement. You work for us. Trust me. If you are unwilling and unable to recognize who you serve, we will vote you out and find commissioners that understand service and democracy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up is Jackie Myers, followed by Jake Hayhoop. I'm allowing people who didn't have a chance to speak. Go. Jackie Myers, followed by Jake Hayhoop.
That's me. Okay. So I hate, and it's very annoying that I have to dedicate any of my time to singling out any one person's behavior, because I genuinely believe that we have much bigger fish to fry and issues that need attention. But for as long as Dave is gatekeeping change here in Oakland County, I guess that's what we have to do to make things better. I'm sure that I don't need to tell you, but people across the country are feeling incredibly disenfranchised. Elected officials on both ends of the political spectrum are either capitulating to corporate interests to avoid real or perceived consequences, or are in league with them outright for their own personal gain. Everyday people like me are packing boardrooms like this one to beg their elected officials not to do things against their best interest, not to put a data center in their backyard that will destroy the earth and her inhabitants, not to place cameras on every street that gives billionaires a database that allows them to track our every move so that we're easier to profit off of, control, and terrorize. And in the backdrop of this hellscape where we're seeing the rapid backsliding of our rights, we have Dave Woodward circumventing democracy here by weaponizing his knowledge of public office processes and loopholes. You can't selectively wield power when it suits you and then act like your hands are tied when we ask for funding to help our neighbors who are being terrorized by ICE and in critical need of support. I think that you tried to greenlight the 55 grand to Flock, hoping to keep it completely under the radar, because I think you knew that your constituents and colleagues would put up a fuss about it, and I don't think you wanted to deal with it. But you can't mold democracy to fit your narrative or to appease your corporate overlords. If this is how you act when you know people are watching closely, I can't imagine what happened when we weren't paying attention. You're not the only commissioner on this board, and your voice isn't any more important than anyone else's. This is just one more bad move in what's becoming a very observable pattern of bad faith that can be judged both independently and in addition to whatever's going on outside of these walls. I'm going to choose to believe that your fellow commissioners and the rest of our local government don't share the same conditional view of democracy as you do. But I guess we'll see when the time comes to vote on Flock when that grant comes up later on. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Jake, and then Martha Sislagi. And then Daniel Milan.
Oh wait, I was number 3.
We're allowing I'm allowing everyone to speak who hadn't had an opportunity to speak.
Come on, Dave. I was here
Jake,
at 5:15
Jake,
again.
Jake, continue.
What the hell is up with this? I was here at 5:15. I signed up as number 3 again.
Jake,
My
the floor is
favorite
yours.
number.
The floor is yours, Jake.
I know. You just feed into
Jake, the floor is yours.
Can I get the clock restarted? I want my full 3 minutes, please.
Yes, please restart the clock.
Thank you. So good evening. I'm Jake Haiku, White Lake Township. I'm here to oppose any data center built in Oakland County, and I urge the board to issue a countywide memorandum against them until we can see the long-term effects they have on our local communities. Though each technological advancement in history was met with adversaries, the people against AI seem different. We're in a world of political whiplash and disunity caused by Donald Trump, and this is one thing that brought lower and middle class people together. What seems different about this, I ask myself on a regular basis, and it's billionaire tech CEOs and self-determined elitists like many on this board claiming supremacy over the working class. But do you think the billionaires care about you? The only thing they care about is how you vote for the data centers that would line the pockets of themselves and the utility companies like DTE and consumers, which already have been approved for rate hikes in areas with data centers. And beyond the immediate strain on our power grid and water tables, we need to talk about what AI is doing to the next generation's ability to think for itself. I just graduated high school. I didn't attend the last board meeting because it was like my last day of high school, but people there can't write a simple paragraph, and it's insane. It's because of AI chatbots, and the rise of AI is insane. So we're watching a generation lose the muscle of critical thinking in real time, and now this board wants to build the very infrastructure that accelerates the decline right in our backyard so that a handful of companies can train the next model faster. Meanwhile, the jobs we're told these centers will bring are a fraction of what's promised, mostly temporary construction work, while the permanent positions go to a skeleton crew of out-of-state technicians. Our kids are losing their ability to think, and they're not even going to get the jobs in exchange. And let's not pretend this technology stops at chatbots and server racks. The same AI infrastructure being normalized in counties like ours isn't the backbone for surveillance systems like Flock Safety's automated license plate readers, and now drones already quietly installed across Michigan and Oakland County with little or no public input in case of this board. These cameras and drones don't catch the bad guys. They build a permanent searchable record where every one of us drives, when and how often, fed into a database that local police, ICE, and private companies can all tap into. Once that data exists, it doesn't go away, and history tells us exactly how surveillance tools built for safety get repurposed against protesters and immigrants and anyone who the people in power decide to target next. Rochester Hills didn't wait around to find out what these projects would cost their residents. They passed a 6-month memorandum back in February to actually study the impacts. And I urge this board to do the same thing because communities across this country, from North Carolina to Texas to California to right here in Michigan, are doing the same thing. We're pumping the brakes long enough to ask the basic questions about water, power, and who actually benefits. And let's make sure that's not the billionaires and DTE and consumers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Martha Szilagyi, and then Daniel Milan. Martha? Martha? And then Daniel.
It has been at least 90 days, and yes, we have been counting, since Commissioner Cavell proposed 6 resolutions that would address the safety and welfare of our neighbors. We are still to no avail. We are still waiting for our commissioners to partner with members of the community to move in the direction of passing these asks and codifying them. Our concerns regarding the use of black drones in Oakland County and the underhanded way this decision was made continues to be ignored. Human rights across this country are being viciously violated, and yes, in this county are being viciously violated in this county on a daily basis. The demands of your constituents protect the civil liberties of all in Oakland County are reasonable and fiercely moral. We will continue to speak truth to power as the the late United States Representative Shirley Chisholm wrote, and the first Black woman to run for the presidency wrote, if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring folding chairs. Well, take a look at this view. We shall not be moved.
Thank you. Danielle, and then Sally Walker.
Good evening. My name is Danielle Mallon, and I am a resident of Birmingham. For 5 months, I and my fellow Oakland County residents have been showing up, sending emails, making phone calls, and giving public comment about the presence of DHS and ICE in our communities. We are still waiting for action from the board. We are asking the board to act immediately on the following: approve $50,000 for legal aid to support impacted families, $100,000 to address food insecurity for impacted families. We're also asking for no 287G agreements with ICE. It's not enough that the sheriff has stated that there is no current agreement. It needs to be made into policy. This is not a difficult request. As I've stated previously, the city of Birmingham has confirmed that city policy is to not enter into a 287 agreement. I expect that Oakland County can do the same. I'm also here today to speak out against the flock safety contract with the Sheriff's Department for surveillance drones. As we have heard tonight, there are so many examples of the misuse of LPR data, so many examples of communities across the country who have had bad experiences with flock, local laws violated, data misused, resulting in the cancellation of contracts with flock. Please do the right thing and cancel Oakland County's contract with flock immediately. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mary Miller, followed by Paul Weinberg.
Good evening, and thank you for giving us the time to speak. The first obligation of any governing body is to protect and promote the rights, safety, and well-being of the people it serves. My name is Mary Miller. I'm a longtime Novi resident. I'm making this sacrifice of my time, my money, and my attention because the expansion of flock safety in our county is unconscionable. It is a direct step toward digital authoritarianism. Published reporting and investigations have documented numerous violations and abuses tied to Flock's ALPR network, including warrantless mass tracking of communities, cross-jurisdictional searches used by federal units, surveillance of protesters, and people exercising their First Amendment rights. Targeted discriminatory searches, thousands of improper searches by officers, errors and misreads that have led to false flags and wrongful stops, and attempts by some municipalities to hide or restrict public access to flock data. A technology that enables broad, persistent tracking of our movements without warrants, without individualized suspicion, and without clear public consent does not make us safer. It changes the relationship between citizens and government. It chills speech, it chills assembly, and it concentrates power in ways that are difficult to reverse. When government bodies choose secrecy over transparency, the public is responsible to demand better representation. Decisions about surveillance should be made openly with clear limits, independent oversight, and enforceable safeguards that will protect civil liberties and prevent abuse. You have only 6 months in which to reconsider this decision. 6 months to choose the Constitution and to choose your community. Use that time to hold public hearings, to require independent audits, to insist on strict access controls, and to adopt binding policies that prohibit discriminatory searches and third-party sharing without warrants. Tonight, I ask you to act with integrity, with courage, and with unwavering commitment to the Constitution and to the people you serve. The residents of this county deserve nothing less. And I'll close with a reminder from Benjamin Franklin. Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty or safety.
Thank you, Mary. Paul Weinberg, followed by Sharon Trumpy.
Hi, I'm Paul Weinberg. I live in Rochester, and it has been 4 months since the February 20th meeting where I first addressed this body on the matter of ICE operations in Oakland County. I spoke then, and I've spoken since, and I am back again to speak on what feels like the same thing. Community aid for, and on the issue of ICE operations in Oakland County. So Community Aid for Empowerment, or CAFE, verifiers have verified at least 400 disappearances of community members since August. And this is likely a significant undercounting of actual abductions because ICE officers have become incredibly efficient. We have seen that the duration of ICE detentions has gone from about 12 minutes in August to about 6 minutes now. I work at Oakland County as a mathematics educator. My research looks at how to support K-12 students in mathematical sense-making. However, the ICE presence and operations in Oakland County has altered my professional focus. ICE operations have frightened Oakland University's students of color, and ICE operations have frightened K-12 students in Oakland County schools. On Thursday, May 28th, myself and other educators presented at a training of the Michigan Educator Association leadership training to support them to protect their Michigan teachers of color and their K-12 students of color from ICE activity. This is real, and this is a consideration, and this needs to be a greater consideration. Because ICE operations have continued in Oakland County, my asks have not changed. $50,000 for legal aid, $100,000 for food insecurity for children. We need to add 2 community members to the ad hoc committee, and we need to codify the following. No ICE on Oakland County property without judicial warrants. No 287G agreements. CAFE verifiers have documented many instances of collaboration between the Oakland County Sheriff's Department and ICE. These cases have been forwarded to Mr. Woodward, and we have not heard back. We need to make sure that there are no Clemis contracts between DHS and ICE. And in the 20 seconds, I will read about ICE collaboration with OC Sheriff's Department. In the summer of 2025, a Community Aid for Empowerment volunteer on 2 separate occasions saw an Oakland County Sheriff's Department vehicle leading unmarked cars from one location to another. The vehicle, okay. But there's more where that.
Thank you, Mr. Weinberg. Sharon Trumpy, followed by John Baldega.
Hi. Last month, I made a public comment about the invocation, and I asked that you take action to make all the things you prayed for actually happen here in our county. I went home after that meeting and thought about what I would do if my kid told me that he was ready for that big test because he had prayed about it. No matter how strong a parent's faith might be, I believe that most parents would find this to be an entirely insufficient effort. This month, I noticed that the invocation was less specific. So I guess that the choice is not to take action, but just not to offer the thoughts and prayers that you won't work for. But then I listened to a proclamation for family reunification and preservation. Commissioner Lubes gave such a moving and personal introduction about how adoption is close to her heart as a grandparent and a social worker. I myself am a parent through adoption through the foster care system. I appreciate the hard work of those who support children and families in the foster care system, but I cannot imagine how anyone could read a proclamation about family preservation and reunification and then be able to sleep at night, knowing that they have the power to support families targeted by ICE and they don't, I again imagine asking my child about how he is prepared for a test and what I would do if my child replied, whereas it is important to recognize the vital role that Algebra 2 holds in my education. Again, I might tell him that I appreciate his recognition of Algebra 2, but what I was looking for him was an actual effort, a real plan that he would execute, because that how he could really prove his dedication to the cause of passing his test. But here's the difference. If my kid didn't do the work, the person that suffers the consequences would be him. All of you made a decision. You decided to seek this office, and when you did that, you committed to do not what was easiest for you, not what benefited your caucus, not what was best for your political ambitions. You committed to serve the people of Oakland County. So when you choose to rely on prayers and proclamations, and you fail to support ethics reforms and mandatory financial disclosures, know that you are damaging people's belief in government. When you fail to listen to concerns about flock safety, you aren't just choosing to compromise your privacy rights, you're choosing for all of us. And when you hold up a proclamation and take smiling photos and talk about your own grandchildren, but you relentlessly, repeatedly avoid doing anything to protect other people's families, other people's children from being ripped apart by ICE, you are hurting real people. And if my mother used my child as a talking point and didn't protect other people's children, my heart would be broken.
Thank you very much. John Baldiga, followed by Nancy Pokowski.
Good evening, everyone. My name is John Baldiga. I'm a lifelong Oakland County resident, Royal Oak, Waterford, Clarkston, Holly, Oakland Township, Rochester Hills. My father was a UAW electrician. He worked midnights at the Sterling Heights assembly plant. I've always been comfortable in this community. I've always felt safe, and I've always felt like I've had adequate representation. Until recently, I was fairly ignorant of what we had here in Oakland County, and quite frankly, that ignorance was bliss. I'm here because a phrase I heard long ago keeps running in my mind. It's, if you continue to do what you've always done, you'll continue to have what you've always had. I've recently been enlightened to what I have in the context of local representation, and I'm compelled to do something about it. I have never had to think about procedural manipulation. I've never had to think about dubious auto-renew contracts. I've never had to think about surveillance infrastructure that allows rogue agencies access to an all-seeing eye in our communities. Access to the vulnerable and access to the next in line to become the vulnerable. Some commissioners are they're inefficient to represent the people of Oakland County. Some commissioners are pretty much bereft to our sense of community, our integrity, our values, and our norms. Some commissioners have aimed to set themselves apart, or more aptly, atop. I aim to support the recall of those representatives, and if necessary, run against them. I aim to petition the removal of the existing flock infrastructure. I aim to be a thorn in the side of any tech bro, petty tyrant that's haphazardly deploying infrastructure out there that's meant to infringe our liberties. This includes data centers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Nancy, followed by Eduarda Crane, and then Justine Gebrath.
Bah. Nancy Poprowski, Royal Oak. Every morning, my goal is to wake up and stay ethical by being an activist for children and the vulnerable. There's an old saying about taking advantage of the vulnerable. I have some cheap swampland in Florida to sell you. In 2017, the swamp came up again when politicians said we needed to drain the swamp. Problem was the swamp was in their backyard. We have growing swampland inside Oakland County in officials' backyards. Politicians trying to sell us theories like drones are our friends. Without them, we will die. And oh, we can get a 9-month free trial and no data theft. Remember that swampland deal? Unfortunately, fear sells to some vulnerable people. Overall, I feel protected by my local police and fire. The police in this building have shown me the utmost respect for my vulnerable situation. And Bob, the fire department in my neighborhood did a great job during a house fire. After the terrorist attack at Temple Israel, Sheriff Bouchard praised drone usage and the fact he was accelerating training for houses of worship. I kind of find this a little insulting that knowing for over 30 years, Temple Israel has made sure on their own accord their staff and security were well prepared and equipped for emergencies. To mislead the public with trying to sell drones as a fear tactic is unethical. Sheriff Bouchard does play an integral part, but please give credit where credit is due. Drawbacks of drones are safety and security risks, devastating civilian impacts, unauthorized surveillance is a Putin tactic, not for Americans. Mid-air collisions due to unauthorized usage, endangering wildlife and more noise pollution. Drones and data centers steal data, another swamp to drown democracy. Anthropic, an AI corporation worth just under $1 trillion, is getting billions of dollars in investments from Amazon. Do you think you should cut back on Amazon? Does anyone need $1 trillion? Well, if you do, I have some prime, get it? Swampland to put affordable housing on in Oakland County. Oakland County, please quit selling out. And by the way, Thursday nights, I give up. This is my granddaughter night. And I come here because you know why? Maybe you'll listen and understand that you're jeopardizing her future.
Thank you, Nancy. Eduarda Crane, followed by Justine Gabret.
Good evening. My name is Eduarda Crane, and I am a resident of the village of Lake Orion. I'm here today because I'm frustrated, just like all of the other members here. And I want to approach it from a different point of view. The fear that the residents of Oakland County, the tax-paying residents of Oakland County have, that are going to affect schools. You systematically are destroying one of the great things about Oakland County, their school system. If you had 400 kidnappings in Pontiac, that means probably 2,000 families are going to be impacted. Their children are not going to go to school. They're going to stay home. They have food insecurities. They don't have any legal assistance. And this state goes on school aid funding, about $10,000 per pupil. And every day they don't show up, it's $43. I'm not going to do the math for you. I did it, and I was appalled. And Pontiac will be the first district that goes off the cliff. And then where do those Pontiac students go? Troy, Rochester, Avondale, Waterford, and they're next. The attendance has gone down in every one of those districts in the last year, and they will continue to go down. Funding will go down. Passing millages isn't going to help because the amount of money that you lose when a student doesn't show up on count day matters. And I don't know how you feel about it, but I hope that each one of you is calling the superintendents in those districts that you represent and volunteering to drive those students to school on count day. And if you won't step up and do that, I guarantee you I will be emailing every single superintendent and as many teachers as I know in those districts and letting them know that you're not protecting the whole process. You're destroying public education in Oakland County. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Justine, followed by David, is it Weiss? I can't remember. From Northville. David from Northville.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Justine Galbraith. I'm from Troy, and I am Oakland County. There are so many areas of concern as I look at the leaders of this county and what you are doing or not doing. It's hard to narrow them down in 3 minutes, but I'm going to try. I continue to be disappointed that a board majority that claims to be disgusted by the conduct of ICE has done almost nothing with regard to the 6 asks this community has been making for the past 6 months. I'm disappointed that literally hundreds of us, as well as the ACLU, which I believe some of you are card-carrying members of, have informed you about the myriad data breaches, privacy violations, and law enforcement abuse of Flock's products and systems. We've shared articles about how Flock's contracts deny municipalities control of their own data, then allow federal agencies to access it. Yet you proceed with the drone pilot program and continue paying for Flock license plate readers. But most of all, I'm bothered that we appear to have a king leading this county, not a board of co-equal commissioners. Commission Chair Woodward has acted unilaterally time and time again, and the other 18 of you seem fine to go along with it. We saw it when Chair Woodward removed 2 commissioners from their committee assignments in retaliation for demanding ethics reform. He had no unilateral power to do this. The board should have voted on it, which I believe Commissioner Spiz tried to address, but instead Chair Woodward forced the board to change the rules after the fact. It did, and now residents of District 10 and 19 have less representation than everyone else in the county. We saw it when the chairman took an undisclosed all-expenses-paid trip to Flock headquarters. Neither the public nor the fellow commissioners knew this when they voted on the drone pilot program. We saw it last month when the chairman decided that the county should intervene in the DTE rate hike, which sounds good on the surface until you look at the minimum $100,000 price tag to do something that the Attorney General's office is already doing. Chair Woodward empowered outside counsel to intervene on this case in the county's behalf. He did this on Tuesday, May 19th. On the 20th, he scheduled an emergency LAGO meeting for the next day. On Thursday, the 21st, in that emergency meeting, he pressed the LAGO committee to vote to hire outside counsel, which he had already done 2 days before, then pressed the full commission to do the same in the meeting afterward. The commission voted yes on something the chair had already done on his own in violation of the Open Meetings Act. And today, instead of going through the committee process to authorize $55,000 of payment to Flock, Chair Woodward let a deadline pass so he could use a procedural rule and sign off on a Flock payment on his own, knowing that the public would oppose it, and this would pressure other commissioners to oppose it as well. So my question is, why do we have 19 commissioners? If the chair can apparently do whatever he wants, why do we have 19 commissioners? At best, Chair Woodward acts unilaterally, and the rest of the commission rubber stamps his decisions. At worst, Dave Woodward does whatever he chooses, and the rest of the commission and the public never know the full story, why these decisions are made, or who's making money off of them. This is not democratic, this is not representation, and it is yet another reason why Dave Woodward should and will be recalled.
Thank you, Justine.
If you haven't joined the effort,
David, followed by Todd Pacho. And I apologize, David. I couldn't read the last name.
Good evening, commissioners, officers, and citizens. My name is David Weissar. I live in Northville, Michigan, and I drove over an hour, and I've waited 3 more to talk about sub silentio. For those who don't know, sub silentio is Latin, and it means governance passed under silence, without acknowledgement, without the people's knowledge. That describes April 8th, and now it describes today. Chairman Woodward, on the record of today, you approved a $55,000 Flock safety line item for the ATPA grant administratively, without a board vote prior to the June 1st deadline, but luckily, the people have been watching the record. We believe that this was intentional, a procedural mechanism to transfer approval authority from the board to one man, without a vote, without public notice, sub silentio. Flock has 510 cameras already in Oakland County, $1.53 million a year, with another 2.5 drone contract, and now $55,000 on top. $4 million for one company who doesn't hold their own data. AWS, Amazon Web Services holds that data. And federal agencies, though not directly, do have access to it through our police departments. This has been a violation of the Fourth Amendment, confirmed in Oregon, confirmed in Washington, and confirmed in California. Michigan has no sanctuary laws. This board has neglected its own data policy sharing. And this county has not been given an answer as to why. Frederick Bastille warned us in 1848, when plunder becomes a way of life for a group of men in a society, over the course of time they will create for themselves a legal system that authorizes it and a moral code that glorifies it. And then the founder of the Constitution, James Madison, in 1829 said, "The essence of government is power, and power, lodged as it must be in human hands, will be ever liable to abuse. Sub silencio is not governance, it is abuse, and I, for one, will not be silenced."
Thank you, sir. Todd Koto, followed by Maureen Abel.
Thank you. I'm Todd from Macomb Township, Todd Koschel. I've had a lot of concerns about flock and data centers mainly, and I mean, I can't believe we're here. I mean, seems like a very common sense human thing that we should never even be in a situation like this. But I mean, hasn't anyone seen The Terminator or these dystopian films? But flock and data centers are going to destroy what is special about being human. As adults and public servants, our biggest goals should be making sure children are safe and protected, especially the future. Flock and data centers will destroy nature, water, and our human experience as we know it. And that's a fact. I mean, we're looking at faucets, people draining water, and it's dirty. There are communities, the animals around the frequency and the waves of these data centers are just astronomical. We can't even imagine kids having epileptic attacks. I can't even imagine what it'd be like to live around them. And I know we want to advance, but progress isn't always progress. Kind of going off script here, but if it's not to better humanity and children, then what are we really doing? Thank you. This is also a threat of privacy, and it's only going to get worse because the military and private organizations are involved. Citizens and communities do not want this tech. What we really have to think about is where it will be in 5 to 10 years. I mean, it's going to be crazy, probably unimaginable. Very unpopular, even if you read the comments of like any of these posts about data centers or flock cameras. I mean, I don't see any positive comments about it. Very unpopular across the board. And so please consider that this will affect us all eventually, rich or poor. Nobody's getting out of this alive. It's just basic human common sense that clean water and food are what we need most to live. And messing with that equation doesn't make any sense. Let's change this around and not let billionaires dictate our future. They don't care about the common person. Why would anyone want to live in a dystopian robotic takeover that fights against humanity? The people behind this technology are literally telling us how bad the outcome is. So let's all work together and tell them what's right for us, not let them dictate our future. And also...
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Maureen Abel, followed by Autumn Eden.
Hi, I'm Maureen Abley, and I live in Commerce Township. I was interested in talking about the family reunification idea today, and I don't know, it's very close to my heart. I just read a piece yesterday that was talking about families in the United States, not just here in Oakland County, but there are some stories that I'm sure are true here as well. Since January 2025, ICE has been holding at least 500 babies and toddlers in their custody in these horrible facilities that they call detention centers. Why we need to have detention centers for infants is beyond me. So what are those facilities like? You know, they don't have temperature controls. They're too hot, they're too cold. People are sleeping on cement floors. They don't have adequate food. The children have nothing to play with. Their brains are developing at this point in time. It's really critical for their future, and they're living in these horrible conditions. Even a few months can make a big difference in a child's life. So here's one story that I'd like to quote you from an analysis that was done on the Deportation Data Project. In March, 2-year-old Caleb went with his parents to a routine immigration check-in in California, an appointment the asylum-seeking family had never missed, and ICE jailed all 3 of them anyway. They handcuffed the father and drove him to an adult facility while Caleb and his mother were flown to the Dilley Detention Center in Texas. Torn from his dad, the boy kept dragging a little table under a wall-mounted internal prison phone, trying to climb up to reach a father he had no way to call. Then he stopped eating for 12 days, vomiting when his mother tried to feed him, his cheeks going hollow and his eyes sinking in their sockets while the staff called it depression. This is happening here in our community as well. It's not just there. We are ripping families apart. You have the opportunity to do some things. There are asks, and I don't have to go through them all again. You all know them very well by now. If you're not doing anything at all, you are colluding with these ICE agents. Try to imagine that that's your 1 or 2-year-old child or grandchild. These people are not anymore, they're not criminals, they're human beings. And thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Abley. Autumn Eden, followed by Samantha Hunt.
Hi, my name is Autumn Eden. That is my government name. Did you know that the Board of Commissioners is one of the oldest government bodies? Not this one, but in general, even before 1776. This is truly one of the oldest government institutions since the concept was introduced in Pennsylvania in 1682. King Charles II owed William Penn's late father a huge debt in the amount of between $10 and $20 million. Even ChatGPT couldn't go back that far and do the exchange rate for, since the US dollar didn't exist. But he gave, so instead of paying this back to William Penn, he gave William Penn an entire landmass, a land grant, which is now Pennsylvania. Now Pennsylvania is 10% smaller than the landmass of England. So this guy got a whole country. He'd never led anything before, not like this, and he was terrified of following in the footsteps of the crown. He didn't want to continue down that path. It was introduced to represent the space between, so this body was introduced to represent the space between the individual city leaders, or mayors as we now call them, and the broader reach of the governor. It was to relieve the pain points that the top-down British government posed. Counties used to be called shires. Did you know that? They were shires and the one-stop tax collecting, citizen arresting individual who was charged with also delegating the funds when it was necessary for smaller conglomerates like cities and townships. When it was necessary for them to share funds, because even back then they had things like roads, they had things that affected multiple cities at once. They was called the shire reeve, which is now the sheriff. So one guy, and it was usually always a guy, was left in charge of deciding what to do with tax dollars. This caused a lot of consternation among the settlers, as you can probably imagine. They became increasingly angry at the unilateral decisions that were made by the shire reeves or the sheriffs. No shade to the sheriffs now, but that's just what was happening back then. They ran amok, they were unchecked, and they often acted in special interests that caused unrest in a very big way. But unlike other colonial governors who preferred the top-down rule, in fact, when they settled Virginia, they instituted a little monarchy, just like the king. But unlike those colonial governors who preferred the top-down rule, Penn was known as a political reformer. I'm not a huge fan of William Penn, okay? But I want you to know that he drafted his famous, let men be good and the government cannot be bad. If it be ill, they will cure it.
Thank you very much. Samantha Hunt, followed by Susan Matthews.
My name is Samantha Hunt. I'm from Waterford. Brought you a little crown, Dave. You seem like you need it today. I'm here to represent Waterford since my commissioner cannot. Thanks, Commissioner. I know you're trying your best over there. So Flock was on the agenda today, as noted in your communication to the rest of the commissioners, because it's in the contract. So just thought I'd point that out. I have a migraine right now that's come on due to the length of this meeting, so what I say might not make a whole lot of sense. Wish these meetings didn't take so long. They wouldn't take so long if you'd listen to your constituents, but you don't. Multiple times we address that Flock is something we don't want to have here, something that we don't want in our communities. We'd like the contracts canceled, and then you try and get sneaky, like my kid, who I just saw on my security camera at home, not operated by Flock. It's secret, it's safe and secure, and nobody else can see it. I get to control the privacy settings. That's the difference. You see? I'd love to be spending time with her tonight, but, can't. But, I did get to look through that contract a little bit more, and I got to see that those drones absolutely will be used for surveillance. So you lied. So, I'm glad I came, because I get to find out exactly what's in front of us. And also, to top it all off, I got to hang out with my cool friends here. So community building, that's great. So migraine, I got 2 minutes. Migraine, what else was in there? Flock sucks. Everybody should grow their own vegetables. Ice the fuck out of here, because you lie to us about what you can do about that too. The trauma of seeing empty cars in the middle of the road because somebody's been abducted, yeah, that doesn't go away. You don't forget it. It is like a horror movie, actually, because it haunts me in my dreams. I still see it, even though it happened weeks ago. So while you all get to go on like you don't see it and it doesn't happen to you, these things still happen to people in everyday life. So, keep lying about Flock. We'll keep telling you and pointing out exactly where it's written in print, black and white. I just love that. I love FOIA. So I'm gonna go take my migraine medicine, and everybody have a great night, except you, Dave.
Thank you, Ms. Hunt. Susan Matthews, followed by Ryan Reidnor.
Thank you. I guess I want to start with I watch your faces, and I wonder, how different are you from we're all different, but I think the main difference that we feel is that you don't act like you have to be accountable to us. So we have watched our democracy just do nothing but degrade and degrade for a decade now. And you are asking us to live now where we thought we were safe in that same kind of dystopia that is all over our country. We thought, we really did believe that people that held office cared about the people that elected them. Well, we've been proven wrong over and over and over again. So first it was the drones, the flock. Did you really think that they wouldn't make copies of it? Even if everything else you said was true, which we know it is not, did you really think they wouldn't make copies of it? So then we go from drones and then we go to ICE, which, nope, not a one of you, I mean every one of you is an immigrant. Every one of you. Some of us a little more directly, but unfortunately it seems to be the white immigrants that decided that no other immigrant should have their rights. In the meantime, you're taking away voting rights at the national level. You're taking away, what is going on? Do you not believe in democracy anymore? I really don't get it. Your faces are like a brick wall. There's no care in your faces. And I, honest to God, don't know where this all ends. But I never had children. I have zillions of nieces and nephews. And I can say that this is the first time in my life that I'm grateful that I didn't have children. To see them, to make sure that they don't see the destruction of our democracy in front of their faces. You guys, I don't know, do you think we don't think this is very, very important? You guys dismiss us. This is our country. And what happened to democracy? Why are you giving up on our democracy? And I don't know about you, but the MAGAs, they sure as hell don't care about honesty. Never mind our Constitution.
Thank you, Ms. Matthews.
Look at how much of our Constitution has been just disregarded, totally disregarded. Let's go back to voting rights and women's rights.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank
Matthews.
you.
Ryan Ridenour and Dania Daz. Ryan, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Ryan Ridenour. I'm a social studies teacher in West Bloomfield, the president of our local, thank you. The president of our local teacher union, and I'm here tonight for our public schools. In 2 weeks, absentee ballots will be available for the August 4th primary, and there is one item on that ballot that is extremely important to Oakland County teachers and support staff, and that is the Oakland County Enhancement Millage, which would levy the equivalent of $781 per pupil to our Oakland County students. Unfortunately, there has been incomplete and inaccurate information about the Enhancement Millage shared in public spaces, including, unfortunately, from elected officials. Elected officials that, I'm just spitballing here, send mailers to everybody in West Bloomfield on official commissioner letterhead telling them that the Enhancement Millage will destroy them. So, the first myth that's been spreading is that if this millage passes on August 4th, it would be some sort of blank check with no regulations or restrictions whatsoever. This is untrue. I can tell you as a teacher union president who works with local contracts a lot that this criticism is missing something very important. Local teacher contracts have what is called trigger language. The Oakland County teacher union presidents meet pretty frequently, and we have determined that the majority of our unions have trigger language on the enhancement millage. So in West Bloomfield, for example, if the enhancement millage passes, within 30 days, our district must engage in collective bargaining with us. And what do you think teacher unions are going to be considering a priority? Raises for our staff, because they do a lot of work and they're underpaid. The other myth that I've seen spreading is that, well, schools are getting record funding, so why would they ever need an enhancement millage? The problem is the numbers are higher, but when you look at our per pupil funding, it is actually less now than it was in 2009 when you adjust for inflation. We are funding our schools less, not more. As a teacher, I've seen the effects firsthand of how we pay educators. Every year, I see more bright, young, passionate teachers leave the field, not because they want to, but because they can't afford it. No one should be priced out of being a teacher. And staff turnover, when there's staff turnover, who does it hurt? The students. So this millage is really about the people who make it possible for your kids to learn and achieve at the highest level. So Oakland County residents, let's give local teachers and support staff the pay they deserve so the kids can get the education they deserve. Please speak with the teachers in your area about voting yes on August 4th on the enhancement millage. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Dania, am I saying that correct? Is it Dania or?
No worries. It's like Tanya, Danya, Jazzy,
Danya,
Bazzy.
okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome.
Hi, my name is Danya Bazzi. I'm the superintendent of the West Bloomfield School District. Thank you. Thanks. For me, public education is very personal. Public education, I grew up in Wayne, Michigan, and Wayne Westland Community Schools, and it really was the lifeline for me and my 4 siblings to the American dream as the daughter of immigrant children. I have to be honest, the way schools are funded today is not adequate to meet the needs in front of us. Schools are no longer just places where students come to learn reading, writing, math, although we are still absolutely responsible for that. Today, we are also nurses, counselors, mental health professionals, social workers, safety planners, technology providers, nutrition support, family support, and sometimes even the first place a child turns to when something's wrong. And that is our greatest pleasure, to do all of those things for our community. We are public servants, and every staff member is committed to do that within our public education system. This is why this conversation about the enhancement millage matters. Oakland and Wayne and Macomb counties already have enhancement millage. Approximately 44% of all students in the state of Michigan are touched by an enhancement millage. This is not an unusual idea. It's a tool that many communities are already using to support students, teachers, and classrooms. Now, I know I have to be careful. I'm not here to tell people how to vote. Each person will make that individual choice at the ballot box, and we support and partner with our local county and state officials always. But I do have opinions. I know, shocking as a superintendent. This is really an important issue for us to work together and to make sure our schools have the resources they need. This is not just a school issue. Strong schools benefit our cities, our counties, our state, our workforce, our neighborhoods, our families. Local, county, and state government need to continue to work as partners because our children don't belong to one system. They belong to each and every one of us. An enhancement millage would support people closest to students every day, our teachers, support staff, our classroom instructional materials, but most importantly, it will support our students, their learning, their opportunities, and their future. For more information, please go to oaklandenhancementmillage.com or feel free to send me an email. Thank you for your service, Commissioner, Chair. I wish you the best.
Thank you very much. Elena Mosher, followed by Maria Mata.
Hi, my name is Elena Mosher, and I'm an Oakland County resident. The use of privately owned cameras to conduct public mass surveillance is a clear violation of the Fourth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, as flock safety enables unreasonable searches without probable cause or a judicial warrant for every single citizen that drives by one of over 100,000 flock cameras in use in America today. This essentially treats every single person residing, working, visiting, or simply passing through Oakland County as if they have been committed of or have committed or accused of a crime. On top of violating the U.S. Constitution, Flock also puts the general public's data at extreme risk. The data collected on public streets is used to create vehicle fingerprints based on license plate, make, model, and color of cars, as well as any customizations or bumper stickers. These vehicle fingerprints are put into a searchable database and are sold and merged with people's mobile advertising ID. Also called MAID, this data is used to determine what ads to show to people and the price that they pay during online purchases. It tracks your personal habits, hobbies, frequently visited locations, places of work, addresses, and creates a pattern of life profile, all in the name of squeezing as much money as possible out of the general consumer. It may seem that Flock's main objective is to make money off of cities and towns through contracts, and while they do profit in that sense, a much more lucrative side of Flock is how valuable the collected data they receive is. The patent that Flock has actually specifies that these cameras, the systems connected, have the ability to determine someone's clothing, race, gender, height, weight, and even how they walk. This allows the mass surveillance system being implemented in our community to track beyond cars and into bicyclists and pedestrians. This means that there is absolutely zero way to opt out of the surveillance state that is currently being manufactured. Flock is also known for repeatedly using manipulative sales tactics to acquire contracts as well as outright lies. On the Flock Safety website, Flock claims that their cameras do not use facial recognition. While this statement is technically true, it's misleading because the back-end servers that the cameras are connected to does, in fact, use facial recognition. I urge this council to vote against any renewal of any Flock contract. Join us in the fight to protect our right to privacy. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Maria, is it Mara Mata? Followed by Robin McGregor and then Cecil George.
Hi, my name is Maria Jalil Mata. I go by Mara. I live in District 1, Wagon Wheel Apartments. And I'm here to speak on the Flock contract and how Woodward just unilaterally designated money for it through the Auto Theft Prevention Task Force. I'm really proud to say I'm a first-generation Lebanese-American immigrant eldest daughter, and I'm living in a post-9/11 world. Me and my community have always lived under surveillance, and having this constant reality since the age of 5, I can tell you safely that this does not make us safer. It doesn't make us safer overseas. It doesn't make us safer here. It's a painful irony that my family moved here so I wouldn't live under Israeli drones, and now I live and exist under the watchful eye of Flock. Where is my and my neighbor's right to be innocent until proven guilty as enshrined in the Bill of Rights? At what point was our humanity insufficient to have this right? What is my crime, anticipated or actual? I would really love to know. The point of surveillance is to enforce control, an essential tool of fascism, with Commissioner Woodward as its current top champion. But surveillance will not deter the fight of the people. This is my home state, Michigan, and I know that as long as the chances aren't zero, we're showing up. We showed up today, and we'll keep showing up to fight Flock, to deter ICE from kidnapping our neighbors, and to, in the near future, recalling Woodward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Robin McGregor, followed by Cecil George.
Robin McGregor, Waterford. While I was in caucus, Angela Powell said that none of us have asked the right person for legal aid. So what I'm doing is making a formal request to every commissioner on behalf of everybody in this room, saying that we want legal aid to give us the money for ICE and for our immigrants to make a difference. We talk about family unification. I am a child that was put into foster care for 5 years. I unified with my family when I was 8 years old. I cannot tell you how it felt to be a child knowing where my mother was, but I couldn't touch her. Imagine the children that are out here that are usually Hispanic children or they're Lebanese children. It's interesting because the immigrants that are being picked up are not from Canada. They're not from Europe. There are only certain types. Why is that? A friend, and I will call him a friend, put this together. I asked Charlie to put this out to each of you. It talks about how ICE is deporting children with cancer. They're deporting parents with cancer. 95% of the people do not commit crimes. 3 out of 4 have no legal representation. We are Oakland County. We do better than that. We have over $100 billion of federal, state, and local taxes that have been paid on the backs of immigrants that are legal here. And yet, they don't get the same benefits if they don't have complete citizenship. So we're getting the benefits of the Medicare and our Social Security and things like that, where they're not getting any of that. We are Oakland County. I am Oakland County. We are so much better than this. What people are asking for is a fair shake and to make a difference. We want to have fairness to all. I just visited Italy. 1595 BC, before Christ, the Pope isolated the Jews. And in 1940, they did the same thing. And they called it detention camps. It's the same thing they're doing today. And I sat on grounds where people were pulled and got to Auschwitz. We should never be doing that. That is not us. We are Americans. I am proud to be American. We should never repeat the history where we killed and mangled people. We are doing that and allowing it to happen. Each person on this board, I don't care if you're a D or an R, we are people of Oakland County. Let's make a difference.
Thank you very much, Robin. Cecil George. Welcome, sir.
Good evening. My name is Cecil George, and I'm running for State Senate in District 13 against your friend, Sean Carlson. Before I get into that, I want to say this. As a kid, I was always told, we are the future. You are the future. I'm the future. From what I see, the future is looking real bleak. The people standing up and asking questions about assessing fees assessing fees are why I'm running. The people asking about ICE are why I'm running. The people speaking out against Flock and license plate readers are why I'm running. For the people fighting against data centers is why I'm running. So let's get into the thick of it. We can't allow more people like you to get into office. I know you, Dave Coulter, and my primary opponent, Sean Carlson, are all friends. And I can't let another one of you into a higher office. Even if the people here don't know why Mr. Carlson stepped down from his position, I do. At least he knew when to walk away. That's why I'm going to keep showing up until you are recalled or resign. Sorry. Mr. Woodward, you are a bully. That's for sale, just like your friend, Mr. Carlson. And I'm here to fight for the county and the state from people like you. Gwen, you said at a recent meeting, we don't want to poke the bear. Well, I'll poke the bear. I've never been afraid of a bully. To Charlie Curvell, Kristen Nelson, and Bar Hoffman, the courage you exemplify is noticed and appreciated. And for everyone behind me, if you do not want another version of Dave Woodward in a higher seat, help me go viral. Share my social, tell your friends, family, and neighbors. Unlike Sean Carlson, I don't have 137,000 to put behind my own race. So I need your help spreading the word. I already have 4 bills drafted for day 1 in office, and I hope you'll check it out. Check out my website, cecilgeorge.com. But also, I want to say this to you, because I have 40 seconds left. I don't understand how people are putting party over the people instead of people over the party. I'm not here to fight for one side or the other. I'm here to fight for everyone. But you disgust me. And I will do my best to make sure people like you have a very hard time with people like me. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Mr. George. Next up, Taya Lyons, followed by, Jenna Lindsay.
I was first on the public comment for this public comment, but thank you for once again saving me for the end, because that gave me a lot of time to do some research. That's going to pay off well for you. So, here are some line items from the auto theft prevention grant that Dave approved without a vote from the board and without public comment. Quote, Flock quick deploy cameras are being renewed for $25,000. Quote, Flock enhanced search LPR package was renewed for $30,000. Quote, drones were purchased for $17,125.50. These drones have enabled us to conduct surveillance without detection. That is a direct quote, despite the fact that Sheriff Bouchard, several other officers, and Dave himself have convinced us and told us numerous times that drones are not for surveillance. Again, direct quote, these drones enabled us to conduct surveillance without detection. And additionally, another quote, Motorola LPR investigative database renews for $35,000, 420. So in total, Dave Woodward alone approved $107,000, $545,050 for surveillance technology that thousands of Oakland County residents do not approve of. This is not democracy. This is not representation. This is corruption, and it is obvious that Dave hoped he could do this without public knowledge. So I want to once again remind you, everyone here, what I said in a previous meeting. The days of indifference to local politics and complacent self-serving politicians are over. We are watching now. We are paying attention. You're not going to be able to pass things that we're not going to see. And I will continue to tell people about everything that's going on because people deserve to know what's happening. It's ridiculous that this government requires people to be unaware of what's happening to function. That's not democracy. Additionally, I would like to talk about the fact that there was a leaked document from the Department of Homeland Security that labeled anti-data center activists as anti-tech violent extremists. That means the people here today who have talked about data centers, myself, who have shown up at meetings to oppose data centers, are considered terrorists by the federal government. So let me ask you this. Do you think the kid who just graduated high school should be targeted as a terrorist by Flock cameras if that's what the government decides to do? Because again, the government has already said that they want access to a nationwide network of LPRs. Are they terrorists? Don't let it happen! Additionally, I want to draw your attention to Carbine.
Thank you.
It is an
Thank you
Israeli
very much,
technology
Taya.
company that is using AI to power 911 phone calls that you guys approved and passed out to other
Jenna.
counties. Look into it.
Taya.
Please cancel it.
Thank you very much. Jenna Lindsay, followed by Mike Flores.
I'm back with the Flock contract. I have a couple sections of the contract to read, but I do want to call out something that happened recently in Warren, Michigan. I think it was June 10th, they had their meeting, and there was a police officer there that gave a presentation about Flock. And they were asked a couple of questions. We learned that local PDs have a data sharing agreement with over 2,000 agencies, likely including federal agencies like ICE. If Warren has sharing agreements with 2,000 agencies, imagine how many Oakland County has. And we also found out that these agencies do not need permission or approval to access the data. Also, when we do get Flock out of Oakland County, because that will happen, we have to continue our work because we have to make sure these cameras are removed, because we also found out in Warren that the cameras were operational even after the contract was ended. And I also do want to highlight what Taya tried to talk about, which is Carbine, which is mandated for PSAPs in Oakland County. It is an AI-powered, Israeli-funded tech company that operates 911 dispatch. Also, there was funding from Ehud Barak and Jeffrey Epstein, so Oakland County is now attached to those wonderful names. But let me find where in the contract I had a couple of highlights. I lost my spot. How long do I have? I have a minute. But I want to talk about some of the things that are actually line items in this contract. If I can find them, I apologize. Okay. Just so everyone knows what Flock has access to. For clarity, Flock may access, use, preserve, and/or disclose the footage to law enforcement agencies, government officials, and/or third parties if legally required to do so, or if Flock has a good faith belief that such access, use, preservation, or disclosure is reasonably necessary to A, comply with legal process or request, enforce this agreement, including investigation into a potential violation thereof, C, detect, prevent, or otherwise address security, fraud, or technical issues, protect the rights, property, and safety of Flock, its users, a third party, or the public as required or permitted by law, including responding to emergency situations. The agency, that's Oakland County, hereby expressly grants Flock a non-exclusive, worldwide, perpetual, royalty-free right and license during and after the term hereof to disclose agency data, inclusive of any footage, to enable law enforcement monitoring against law enforcement hot lists, as well as to provide footage search access to law enforcement for investigative purposes. Flock may store deleted data in order to comply with certain legal obligations, such as retained footage will not be retrievable without a valid court order. One last thing.
Jenna. Thank you.
A non-exclusive, perpetual, revocable, worldwide, royalty-free, fully paid license to use, reproduce, modify, and distribute agency data and non-agency end-user data as a part of the aggregated data.
Thank you very much.
That's what you agreed to.
Mike Flores. Mr. Flores, Mr. Flores, Mr. Flores, followed by Jean Bartos.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Mike Flores de Troy, and I am Oakland County. I support the recall of Woodward, and I want ICE out of Oakland County. As we celebrate Pride Month, I have been thinking a lot about history. As a gay man, I know the LGBTQ plus community did not achieve equality because people in power suddenly decided that it was the right thing. We achieved progress because ordinary people organized. They showed up, they spoke out, and they refused to disappear. There was a time not long ago when LGBTQ plus people were surveilled by government. They were raided by the police, they were beaten, they were arrested, and they were taken away simply for existing. And there were plenty of elected officials who looked the other way. Many of them openly hostile. Others were sympathetic, but said nothing. Some told us to wait. Some hoped the problem would simply go away. History has taught us something important. Complacency does not work. Ignoring justice never makes it disappear. And that's why I think about ICE. I think about the raids. I think about the surveillance. I think about the families that are being separated. I think about the communities that are living in fear. I think about the residents who have been coming to this board for a month with no action. And as I look at my Democratic elected officials, not all of them are paying attention to me. That's what makes me fucking upset.
That's your language, sir.
Not because we want special treatment, because we want our local government to protect all people who call Oakland County home. Sometimes I wonder what it would have been like if today's elected officials had been in office during the height of the LGBTQ plus right movement. Would they have acted when people were being targeted? Would they have acted when people were being arrested? Would they have acted when communities were pleading for help? Or would they have just waited when it was politically safe? Because history is filled with leaders who eventually found the right side of an issue. The question isn't whether they were there, it's when were they there when it mattered? And that's the question facing this body today. I have no doubt that eventually you will support justice, recognize the harm, recognize the harm that was being done to the people, to the communities, when they were being separated and so forth. As a member of the LGBT plus community, I know that every right we have today exists because someone refused to wait for permission. Someone refused to be silent. Someone demanded courage from their leaders. And that's exactly what residents are demanding from this board. Because pride is not just a celebration. Pride is a reminder that progress never comes from comfort, it comes from courage. And history is watching to see if this board will choose to meet the moment and protect all of Oakland County residents. Gracias.
Thank you very much, sir. Next up is Jane Bartos, followed by Philip Decker.
Jane Bartos, Farmington Hills, empty chair, Gwen Markham is my rep. And I just don't even know what to say. I'm exhausted by this, but maybe not as exhausted as some of the commissioners who have to do this once a month and can't even listen to our public comment. But, I was going to come up here and say, this is the protections that we hope that you have in this contract, but we're finding out, from somebody who took the time to read the contract. I bet how many of you have read, raise your hands if you've read the contract that you are responsible for. I think you're opening yourself up for lawsuits here eventually, definitely. But I think what I want to say instead, I'm just going to ad hoc this, wing it a little bit. I attended a DFLOC in Westland where some friends are trying to get them not to renew their contract. One of their cameras actually, points at a playground. That's it. Reading license plates. I don't know, who drives through that playground. But what really struck me after being here is how the council people listened and gave feedback when there was public comment before. And then when they started talking about the issues that public comment came up, they said, and so, Ms. Bartos, this is why we're going to vote this way, or I'm going to vote that way, and these are our thoughts, and this is why we're making this decision. None of that happens here. I heard that, maybe you want to bring Flock here to have a community forum like they did in Pontiac. Well, no thank you. No marketing for Flock, and, don't waste your time, unless you're really going to have a public forum, a real conversation and real transparency. So that's it. You guys are not, the only elected officials that we have. We do have better elected officials in some other communities. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Philip Decker, followed by Autumn Baker.
Where was I? Yes. So, Cambridge, Massachusetts, October 2025, canceled their contract with Flock Safety after they found 2 unauthorized Falcon ALPR cameras running without the city's permission after they already removed 16 of their Flock cameras. They had an order to remove the 16, but Flock installed 2 more without their permission. Funny. Ferndale, Michigan, canceled their contract with Flock Safety. City Councilwoman Laura Mikulski stated that they were told directly by Flock that they would control their data, that it wouldn't be broadly shared, and they found, despite these assurances, Ferndale's cameras were made accessible to out-of-state and federal agencies like the ATF, Border Patrol, and Homeland Security investigations. Ferndale PD accounted for less than 1% of the searches made using these cameras. ICE, or ICE Assist, pops up in the search records hundreds of times. These cameras are unconscionable. January 2026, Santa Cruz, California terminates their Flock contract after finding their data was accessed by, you guessed it, out-of-state and federal agencies without their consent. Quote from City Council member Susie O'Hara, "I was very dissatisfied with this multi-billion-dollar company continuing to make mistakes and put our data at risk." February 2026, Mountain View, California, canceled their contract with Flock after finding out that federal agencies were able to access their data without the city's consent. The city noted that the nationwide search setting was turned on not by themselves, but by Flock. February 2026, Oxnard, California, terminates their contract with Flock Safety. They found out the national lookup feature had been turned on by Flock without their knowledge, and federal and out-of-state agencies, including ICE, Border Patrol, and Homeland Security investigations, were able to access the data. I think you get the point. How many times does this have to happen before it stops becoming this odd, oh, yeah, we can't control that, and it becomes the point? This is the point of Flock cameras. I don't know. How many times do we have to come here and tell you that this is the point of the cameras? It's not public safety. It's a dissident hunting machine. You can't say, oh no, we're going to use our dissident hunting machine for good. It's a dissident hunting machine. This is the point. And every day that we continue to have these cameras, they put us at greater risk than any amount of the crimes they claim they solve could ever put us at risk. Cancel the Flock contracts. Cancel them.
Thank you, sir. Autumn Baker, followed by Alexa Cromie.
Mr. Chair, I think it's clear that you have a county full of passionate, thoughtful, and engaged constituents. If what you told me at lunch is true, that you have a strong, stable majority, that you are passionate about protecting our neighbors of mixed and undocumented status, and additionally those who just happen to be brown, that you want to work with your commission and your constituents to make a positive impact, why aren't you listening? If I had OU community members like Mike, Alexis, this gentleman, I'm sorry, Robin, this gentleman, I'm sorry, Taylor, Ricardo, and everybody else in this room, they would all have jobs in my government. What are you doing ignoring all of these people right here in the room, the same people who voted you into office? It doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why you like working here. I don't know why you continue working here. And I am the chair of student government. I should understand if anybody does. For some contrast, when I was inaugurated in April, I immediately started releasing records that had been complete but pending for months. When this commission recently started a pilot program with Flock, that is clearly exactly the opposite, putting our data, our identities, our faces, our habits, the places that we live and work and spend our free time, all of those pieces of information are being fed into AI models that track where we go and track the types of purchases that we might make and the types of political beliefs that we might hold. My father is an immigrant. My father did not exactly have permission to come over here and get married when he did come over here and get married, but I'm much more afraid for my belief in socialism and for my estrogen that I take every morning and every evening. Why is it so different for me than for everybody else whose parents are immigrants? Why should I be afraid to hold political beliefs, to believe that government should serve the people? You told me that you toured their facilities on Flock's dime. Did you do any research on local governments who have accepted similar contracts and been burned? Or is it up to Philip Decker? You, David, told me over lunch that that the county could not provide legal aid because it would endanger the identities of the people that it was serving. So Flock can hold on to our data with their laundry list of security compromises and abuses, but reputable local legal clinics that have already done similar work can't be trusted with a pittance of your treasury. Make it make sense. Make a difference for your constituents. We're telling you what to do, you just have to listen.
Thank you, Autumn. Next up, Alexis Cromie, and then Marguerite Gupta.
Dave, I wonder if you would have worn that tie in 2014. My heart weighs so heavy during these dark times that you all refuse to illuminate. Do you really not see the irony of the snub pageantry of celebrating family reunification and preservation, but turning a blind eye to the families being ripped apart by ICE? Are they not Oakland County? Are they not part of this community? Do you not consider them human? My friend and her younger sister sought asylum here after being raped and almost and sex trafficked. My grandmother, my abuelita, fled her abusive husband who beat her and pushed her down the stairs while she was pregnant. And don't you even dare think of what were their other options. What could they do? You've never been a pregnant woman pushed down a flight of stairs by your husband. Breaking the law isn't the first option they seek. These are people, wives, mothers, grandmothers, husbands, brothers, sisters. They come here picking fruit and scrubbing your toilets for pennies on the dollar because that's better than what they had. It's insidious to them and insulting to us that you allow this abuse to continue. We are not ignorant children. We are not uneducated, jobless trash. We are the people that teach your children. We are the people that tend your wounds. We are the people that allow this community to function and flourish. So why won't you listen? Why won't you act? Silence speaks volumes. Doing nothing is the most noticeable action. And while you sit there and wear the rainbow, I don't think you fight for every color.
Thank you, Alexis. Marguerite?
I think they saved the best for last. Anyway, I want to make sure I say this before I get, because I always run out. I haven't seen one constituent up here asking for flock, right? I think I'm going to be the first one, but I'll get to that. Why is everyone so flocking upset? I said, because you flocked us, Dave. Or should I say you flocked up? Why would I want flock? Is because maybe they could be used in the courtrooms to watch the judges when they go to the Zoom hearing platform and remove statements. I said, better yet, they can watch everything that's going on to make sure that we can have it on video. The court thing is a big issue, you guys. Courts are the biggest users of the IT department of every county. Every county gets dictated on what vendors they can use for their file management system, operating system, storage system. Why am I bringing that up? Because the State Court Administrative Office, who overlooks the judicial branch, Mr. Thomas P. Boyd, a cell phone number, the personal cell phone number that Mr. Woodward has in his phone, he doesn't like me. I have clear evidence to show that he falsified a narrative, closed my case down. Why? Because I proved that Zoom is being used as technology leveraged against the public to control court case outcomes. I easily can show it. That's why they shut it down within 24 hours of me saying something. Most significantly, Mr. Boyd keeps all of their IT outdated at the state level. Why would they want to do that? Don't they want to go have a superior operating system? Absolutely not. Having an outdated IT department keeps a noose around every county in Michigan. 83 counties, they dictate the vendors that each county can use because they have to communicate with the state court administrators. Wow, isn't that interesting? And if you file any complaints against a judge, you have to go to the Judicial Tanning Commission. They, in turn, who do they report to? Good old Mr. Boyd. Oh, wait a minute. I think everybody reports to Mr. Boyd, even if you file a complaint through the State Court Administrative Office. No record number, no file number, no case number. So when they say your case is closed, the best question is asked, hey, what's the case number? What's the record number? What's the file number? There are no records. Why? Because there was no investigation. The highest order of business for any court is allegations of fraud upon the court committed by court officers. There's a bunch of attorneys in here. You guys know that like the back of your hand. Not one investigation, not one record, not one case number, nothing. You guys are working together to cover up and conceal.
Thank you, Marguerite. Is there anybody else that would like to speak during public comment? That completes the list. If you can come up to the microphone, you can state your name and community of residence. Welcome.
My name is Danielle Blanchard. I'm a resident of Waterford Township and for 65 years now. And I want to just say to everybody, there's not a lot of us left here. Every single one of you, get 5 of your friends to show up next month. Call every friend that didn't stay the whole time and get them to bring 5, because I think these people seem to think that we don't feel like we're just some little club and we're going to go away. But a lot of other people feel the same way and just aren't showing up. And a lot of other people don't freaking know what's going on because they're like so uninformed. So if you can do nothing else, stand in a grocery line and keep informing people. Wake them the hell up. This is ridiculous. I'm a grassroots person from the get-go, and I'm back in action. I just found my new hobby every month because this is way more fun than karaoke. But I promised I would help a friend here by reading because he didn't complete his. And I promised you I will have the most awesome speech for next time because you guys are so well-spoken. I have to keep up. On September 5th, 2025, time unknown, a community aid for empowerment cafe volunteer was on the phone with an individual student at a nearby university. The student was pulled over by an Oakland County Sheriff's Department officer. By the time that officer came to his car door, several Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, vehicles had surrounded his car. The brief window between when he was pulled over and when ICE arrived strongly suggests that the OCSD is working with ICE on immigration enforcement. No? The following events took place on September 25th and 29th, 2025. On September 25th at 8:30 a.m., Oakland County Sheriff's Department, Immigration and ICE, United States Marshals and Special Weapons and Tactics, SWAT, vehicles all pulled up to a home on Longfellow Avenue at the same time. All of these officers were working together to remove multiple teenagers and an elderly woman, a grandmother, from the home. They were taken out without shoes or shirts. On Longfellow, Officer, I'm going to say his name, but it's here, told cafe volunteer that they had signed judicial warrant that allowed them to detain the children and grandmother. However, no warrant for their detention was present. Cafe volunteers talked with the homeowner who confirmed that there was no reason for his house to be searched. The officers stated that the reason for the warrant was stolen car parts. However, the homeowner showed receipts for all of the purchases. Irrespective, the house was raided and $3,000 was taken by the officers and not returned. The collaboration between OCSD, U.S. Marshals, SWAT, and ICE strongly suggests that the U.S. Marshals Office, SWAT, and ICE are working with OCSD on immigration enforcement. And I can't scroll this, and I've got 12 seconds left. So again, meet me here next month. I'm going to read more, or I will have my own speech. I'm ashamed of every single one of you except for 2 or 3. Because some of you turned your chairs and you sat there and read your freaking tablet the whole time, didn't even have eye contact with us. You too, pal.
If you can state your name and community for the rest.
Good evening. My name is Jill Spadafora, and I'm a resident of Southfield. I did not have a speech prepared. I came to learn, which is what I did a couple of months ago when we had the session regarding Flock to begin with. I'm embarrassed to say that at my age, I have not been politically active. I've always voted. I've always tried to adhere by small d democratic values. They are the core of who I am. And I'm going to share just a little bit of my background and I have a reason for doing this. It's not to brag, it's to make a point. My father served in the Navy. I myself served in the Navy. I have a bachelor's degree in justice studies, and I spent 31 years working as a juvenile probation officer for the Superior Court of Arizona. Clearly, justice is important to me. And when I came to that meeting, what appalled me more than even your decision was that you put our opinions and our voices last. Now, these people here, a lot of them have dedicated their whole lives. They are much more eloquent, much more informed than I am. But I have to take issue with something, and I have a question, and I'd like to get it answered if possible. After that meeting, right or wrong, a recall petition was started based on primarily the fact that that vote was taken without our voices being heard. And in response, rather than saying it to us, you spoke to Fox News. People behind this recall are more interested in stirring up chaos and helping Republicans win. Others are advocates for political violence. Voters see this for what it is. So I'd like to ask you on record, which one am I? Am I the one interested in getting Republicans elected and stirring up chaos? Or am I an advocate for political violence? I'm 5'2". I've got arthritis. I am passionate about justice, and I am passionate about humanity. So just because we do not agree with you, dissent is part of this country. It does not mean I am inciting political violence. I have voted for John McCain in Arizona, from where I'm from, Republican, because he stood for democratic principles. Throughout my life, democratic, small d, principles and values. And I don't see those being executed in this room. And it breaks my heart.
Thank you, Jess.
I'm sorry, I was on the list. I'm Sally Walker, and I'm from Bloomfield Township. I don't have an eloquent speech, but I feel like this is important. I was here at the February meeting asking, along with many other community members, to protect our neighbors from the actions of ICE. I was also at the the one and only ad hoc meeting. And at that meeting, I heard some committee members discussing the dangers of upsetting the federal administration and the possible loss of federal funding. I'm still here asking you once again to protect our neighbors. The most important thing right now is to stop the kidnapping and deportation of our people. We realize that this may cause discomfort and lack of funding. It's going to cause problems for us. But what we're saying is that we understand that and we're willing to make those sacrifices for our fellow community members. We're here month after month, and we're going to continue to be here. We're telling you what is important to your communities, and you really do need to take action on this issue. I also heard someone at a committee meeting saying that they didn't believe that these people were being taken. And I find that so impossible to comprehend, because you don't have to watch that much news or read that many newspapers and articles to have much involvement in your community to understand that these things really are happening and it needs to stop. And if you can't do exactly what we asked for, let's work on what we can do. I'm tired of hearing what we can't do. So please have some meetings, take some action. I can't do it for you, but I'm here to say that I'm going to be here at as many meetings as I can be to hold you accountable. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Walker.
Chris Garr, Royal Oak. Last time I spoke here, I told you guys you had a unique position. You were at the bottom, so you had a lot of room for improvement. Since then, I've seen nor heard any improvement. So is it malice or is it incompetence? It's a tough question. I'm not sure I have the answer to it yet. You've ignored plenty of opinions from professionals, from community leaders, and citizens alike. Now I'm here to engage with something you're a little bit more familiar with, charades. I'll be playing the I'll be playing the character of a bad actor, a terrorist, as the CEO of Flock has already called me. A terrorist, apparently, as the federal government was also just calling me. And as you've described, somebody who calls for violence. You know, all these words just mean anybody you disagree with nowadays. So as these baseless claims that you've described me as, I'd like to own power over others. much like a politician, but I don't want to get my hands dirty. I will first make a business I'll call Shepherd, for I will be owning the sheep. How can I do this as one man? I certainly can't control the whole community on my own, but if I know where everyone everywhere is doing at any time, I can pick and choose my battles however I like. I'll target the easiest thing to sell. Security, peace of mind. For what? Who cares? Doesn't matter. You'll buy it. You're sheep. I will construct a series of cameras unlike any other. These will be special cameras. And when I can't get people to buy it, I'll target the easiest entry into the market. The local sheep, the local government. I'll fly them out. I'll show them a good time. And when that doesn't work, I'll go after the police force. They want my technology. I'll make their lives so much easier, so much simpler. I'll construct a PR image where if you are against me, you are the terrorist. I will sell this at such a cheap price, it would be foolish not to use my product. Once I get a critical mass up, then I will have the ability to watch anyone, anywhere, anytime. It does not matter who, I own the keys. So those terrorists I don't like, anyone, anywhere, anytime. City council that doesn't agree with me, anyone, anywhere, anytime. Police officers, journalists, anyone, anywhere, anytime. How about other important politicians, foreign diplomats, anybody who visits, anyone, anywhere, anytime. I have the data, I have the keys, I can do whatever I like with it. Sign with me, you sign the keys to your citizens, your visitors, your city. Anyone that works for me, keys. Anyone who has unauthorized or authorized access for even a moment, keys. Anyone that I secretly slip info to, keys. It's a societal weapon. It's keys alone you cannot control. Now, maybe some of this is far-fetched. Maybe all the people at these companies have such hearts of golds and they're impenetrable. Top-of-the-line security for these guys. Well, if I'm the bad actor that you say I am, I'll just send my resume over there.
Thank you very much, sir.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that
Excuse
all
me,
men,
ma'am, could you state your name for the record?
the bane of your existence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute new government laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and their happiness. That's from the Declaration of Independence. This is a document that is the basis of what our country is founded on. And I find it interesting when I look up the definition of liberty, if you'll indulge me, as it loads again, sorry. To go about your day, to go about your life in whatever way you choose without being surveilled. To that end, a commissioner said a while ago, it was stated, a commissioner said that we should choose to not poke the bear. In light of certain events and how, I'll say, TikTok trends are going, I think you'll find that a majority of the people in this room will always pick the bear.
Thank you very much. Everyone who wanted to speak for public comment? Did you already speak?
For public comment?
Yeah.
No, I did for the first one, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yes.
Okay. So my name is Michelle, and I am Oakland County, and I'm also a first-generation American, very proudly. I'm here to address the terrifying convergence of the systemic overreach that threatens the civil liberties of every resident of Oakland County. My neighbors have done a great job of laying the foundation, even creating pamphlets outlining ICE detaining not only almost exclusively nonviolent people and often American citizens, stripping away children and impregnating adolescents in the detention facilities. This seems pretty cut and dry, but for the sake of argument, let's call this a slippery slope. We also went into great detail about the systemic surveillance, completely without a warrant, that the ACLU has repeatedly condemned as a warrantless dragnet tracking where we go, where we sleep, and who we associate with. Let's call this yet another slippery slope. I also briefly touched on the House Bill 6058. Although it was passed by both legislative chambers, it's being frozen at the Speaker's desk. This gives police and teachers and many other service members access to health care. Another fundamental oversight is the abilities of this very commission. They're being systemically dismantled. The state and federal zoning updates, specifically House Bills 5529 and 5534, are designated to strip local commissions of their zoning and regulatory powers, replacing local community choices with top-down mandates. Each of these in isolation may appear to be a simple, distant, slippery slope, but stacked on top, from the top down, this existing framework constructs a rapid speed slide face first into techno-fascism, a kind you may only see at an amusement park. It may not appear so from the top of what looks to you like an amusement slide, but I assure you, allowing these civil rights violations to brown people and everyone else will not provide a soft landing. Make no mistake, the fall or the slide from the top will be vastly greater from the top. And as you try to get on your feet to stand firm and provide your informed opposition, you will be met with the same threat as the rest of us are. We will find you and we will kill you. This threat does not come from me, nor does it come from the chaotic and incorrectly deemed politically violent voters who you campaigned and swore to protect. This threat is on White House letterhead. Despite the trip to your sadistic amusement park headquarters, I urge this commission to reject these top-down overreaches and protect our local sovereignty before it is entirely erased.
Thank you very much. Okay, I think that concludes public. One more. Welcome, sir. If you can share your name and community of residence.
James Fancy in Waterford. So, heard a lot of talk about respecting our democracy, and I kind of get a little troubled because I'm reminded we're a constitutional republic, and you know, the founders, a democracy is ruled by majority feeling, what the founders described as a mobocracy. And a republic is a rule by law. And this system is designed to protect individual rights. Individuals, all the individuals in this room, all these individuals here and behind me, and the ones standing up and outside this building, all over the world. So, so all these individuals, so they need to be protected from, you know, big cities or big groups, people like uber-rich monopolists from controlling everything. John Adams said, "Democracy will soon degenerate into anarchy, such an anarchy that every man will do what is right in his own eyes. No man's life or property or reputation or liberty will be secure, and every one of these will soon mold itself into a system of subordination of all the moral virtues and intellectual abilities, all the powers of wealth, beauty, wit, and science, to the wanton pleasures, the capricious will, and the abominable cruelty of one or very few. This is why majority rule does not work. Therefore, the law in which the Bill of Rights must be followed, which the Bill of Rights is in, it must be followed. The basis of the Republic, the law. Intentionally running out the clock to avoid a vote, abusing rules and laws, and hide the fact from the public that money is being sent to Flock for more unconstitutional, unlawful surveillance by one abominable man is inappropriate. The board must course correct and remove all money intended for Flock, and for that matter, any money earmarked for any other infringement on any individual's rights.
Thank you, sir.
Hello. So today I'm going to talk about how this week I discovered once again for like the gazillionth time that Dave T. Woodward is a liar.
But could
I'm addressing you, the
first
chair.
State your name for the record.
Sorry?
Could you state your name for the record?
Okay, my name is Miriam. Kind of scared to say that because now I feel like if I say my name out loud and it's like a foreign name and now he just approved this crazy stupid contract that sounds like it was written by the devil himself and sent up here. But okay, I guess that was surveilled and now somebody knows and thinks I'm like a terrorist or something, which that's unfortunate because I'm brown and Muslim and they kind of already, we're just kind of getting over that. So now it's happening again. And so everything is just really stupid to me, especially when you guys talk about process and, oh, you didn't talk to the right person about legal aid. Again, was the right person the devil? Because that's who sounds like wrote that stupid contract. Like, did anyone here read that contract? Can you raise your hand if you read that contract that you passed today in the consent agenda? No one else? Anyone else read it? The people who you're paid to be here.
One right there.
Two. Do you know that you're at work right now?
Hey,
Okay, but still, did anyone special request a copy? I don't. You guys have serious jobs, and if you're not serious people, you should leave. Okay? And the last thing I have to say, which is why the chair is a liar, is because you told us multiple times these drones are 911 drones. The drones that we've had have always been 911 drones. Well, I looked up on the drone flight record thing. Number one, like 90% of those drones are going only to Pontiac. So you're telling me that it's black and brown people that are calling the police? Rochester had like 3 or 4. So white suburbia doesn't call the police at all. But black and brown people, they're just all the time, like dozens and dozens. Or you just don't trust them or believe them, so you just send a drone because we're not actually going to help you when someone is suicidal or someone is trespassing or there's a robbery. Okay, and I also talked to a volunteer helping with the campaign to recall you. We're very excited to be here all summer long, all winter long, all fall, however long it takes. I'm so excited to keep on coming back to do this. But what I was going to say is I talked to a volunteer who lives in Pontiac and who experienced a drone just hovering over their house, just staring. They had a neighbor who got a thing about their car being a blight or something, but you couldn't even see it from the street. The drone saw that. So you have been using them for surveillance, but you lied about it. So thanks.
Thank you, Miriam.
Hello, my name is Nicholas Skinner, and I'm from West Bloomfield, Michigan. And I'm a lifelong Oakland County resident, born and raised, and this is my first time at a commission meeting, so I thank you for having me, and I apologize for my nerves. I'm also a devout Catholic and would like to share a very relevant passage I hear at church a lot nowadays. This is Leviticus 19:34. The foreigner residing among you must be treated as your native born, and love them as yourself, for you were foreigners in Egypt. And all of our ancestors were foreigners in North America. But as usual, we have not only ignored his command, but we have done the opposite. And migrants have been unjustly prosecuted, denied medical treatment, trafficked, tortured, and raped by guards, and they have been even killed in these detention facilities. The most innocent among us, children, have suffered these wrongs. And unfortunately, Flock drones have aided in delivering the innocent into the hands of their torturers. And it unfortunately won't end there. In Haiti, a US licensed private military firm, Vectis Global, has been using quadcopter drones to combat crime, similar to ours. Except these are used for more than surveillance. They strap explosives to them, like in the Russo-Ukraine war, and detonate them in highly populated areas filled with civilians. Just last September, a suicide drone quadcopter operated by Vectis Global killed 8 young innocent children in the name of crime prevention, and it's scary to realize that this might be our community one day. The stated goal of this mass deportation that Flock partakes in is 100 million removals. This number is a direct quote from the official social media accounts of the Department of Homeland Security and the ICE's, they're also social media account. 100 million immigrants will suffer these inhumane conditions and worse. That's nearly 1 in 3 of us, or almost 500,000 Oakland County residents, condemned to these conditions. And Pope Leo has said himself that history will condemn those who ignore the death of immigrants and has condemned the inhumane treatment of them. So I know in all of your hearts that you are disgusted by these crimes, and sometimes you may want to believe that this can't happen in our county, in our country. It can't happen here, but unfortunately it is happening here, and it can get a lot worse. This is why I ask you, and Pope Leo asks you, and God demands of you to not be complicit in crimes against his people. And this is why we should end 287G agreements, and we should stop the drones. And there's about 20 seconds left. This is not to mention the economic damage as well, which we were talking about economics a bit earlier. Not to mention a sharp decline in tourism, which Michigan relies on, but also up to 4% of the workforce deported, which could lower the GDP of the United States anywhere from 4 to 2% to 6.2%. By comparison, the US GDP shrank by 4.3% during the Great Recession. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. That will conclude the public comment, the second public comment, and that will conclude this meeting. We'll adjourn till July 16th or call the chair. Okay, I closed public comment.
I'm Ann Rosadka. I'm from Walled Lake, and I am Oakland County. And before I get into the ICE and the Flock shenanigans, I just want to reiterate what Cecil George was talking about earlier. Cecil George is running for state senate in the Walled Lake, Novi, South Lyon, Commerce, and Milford. Did I get them all? So he's running in all those areas, and the reason I met Cecil last week when he joined us at our protest, and very impressed with him, but he told me who his person that is also running, and that's Sean Carlson. Remember that name. So I looked up Sean, and that guy's dirty, and I am not going to vote for this guy. So Sean was a whistleblower, blew the whistle on him because Sean's doing naughty things with our taxpayer money. So Sean was investigated, and then also Dave Coulter had an outside firm come and do a total investigation. But the funny thing is, Coulter will not release those findings. Yeah, so look that guy up, Sean, S-E-A-N, Carlson. Guy's dirty. If you know anybody that lives in those areas, do not vote for him. So here's the funny part. I decided to post about Cecil on Facebook, and I posted in the Novi Dems private website. Got a little kickback and pushback on it. Number one was from someone that should be here, but chair is empty. And again, I said Novi, so I think we all know who I'm talking about. Got a little bit more pushback from a few other people. And I went, okay, you guys, let's go. So I pushed back myself and I said, okay, number one, where is this report? And if it's, and because Gwen, I tagged her in it and I said, Gwen, okay, you like this guy, Sean, show me the report. I go, do you have it? Because Coulter, so now I'm wondering, do you have it? Are you sitting on it, Dave? Where is this report? Because there's some pretty shady stuff that Sean was doing. So, and you know what? Once I pushed back and asked questions, crickets, nothing. Everybody shut up. It's like, okay, good. So now to ICE and Flock. Dang it.
Thank you very much.
We're going to
Okay,
get
this
the
is our last-
signatures.
this
I
is our
worked on
last one. This is-
MMOP. We got money out of politics. No problem to get 9,000 for a recall.
That's right. Tracy Giebord, West Bloomfield. I've been here talking to you folks for months, and I'm going to keep coming for months. I'll come for years if I have to. And I'm going to keep telling you what all these people are telling you, and you're not listening. So I really don't expect that anything I say to any of you, with the exception of a few, is going to make a hill of beans a difference. It's not. The only thing, what do we have left to do? If you don't want to listen to the people, Dave, we got to let you go. We got to recall you. And if the next person will take Ms. Powell on, we'll take them all on, and you will all go. And you think, oh, you call it a stunt, Dave. Dave Coulter, he calls it a distraction. He's your buddy, the guy whose deputy is under scrutiny now, and he had to leave. The guy who's running against the guy I'm going to vote for here, which is Cecil George. People say he's green. So what? We all got to start somewhere. You started somewhere, and obviously it hasn't done you much good. 20 years of yeah. And so you think this is a stunt. Let me tell you, I am 68 years old. I grew up in District 1, Dave. I was a cop in District 1. I got a high school reunion coming up 50 years in District 1. I know a lot of people in District 1. Today, I was up in Lansing telling the governor what a piece of shit she is, hiding and not coming out, letting Dana Nessel do all her work. I don't know why Dana Nessel isn't beating her up for it either. But then I went to the Tesla protest. I've been protesting all day. So if you think I can't get 9,000 signatures, which will have more than that, believe it. Believe it, mister. Because you are toast, you're going, and anybody else who doesn't want to do what the people want here, you're going to be gone too. What is this? What kind of democracy is this? It's shameful. It's shameful that you can't listen to the people. The people. Not one person, except your own stupid attorney, where you're wasting taxpayer money, delaying your eventual recall, is here to defend these Flock drones. You know this is dirty stuff. You know it is. You are in the pocket of Mike Bouchard. He is a walking goddamn commercial for Flock drones. He is. Every critical incident that comes on, he says, oh, these Flock drones are so wonderful. Okay, I'm a retired cop. I've told you that before. No, they're not wonderful. They are jeopardizing all of our privacy. And
right.
You are gonna go because of it.
Thank you very much. Thank you for joining. That concludes public comment. We stand adjourned to July 16th or call the chair. Everyone, please drive safely. Please drive safely.